He's like, sure, that sounds great. She goes, great, but we're gonna need some financing since the paper won't support us. And so I've organized tickets to this gala being hosted by this guy named Bruce Wayne. Do you know him? He's like, I have no idea who that is. Why does no one know who Bruce Wayne is? These are reporters. I'm sure at one point, one of these reporters, a story about Bruce Wayne has crossed their desk. One of the richest men in the world. One of the most well-known socialites in Gotham City history. But nope. No one knows who he is.
Oh, I just wanted to thank you for clicking on my video. And I wanted to let you know, not only do I create content in my YouTube channel here, Class in a Glass, but I'm also on Twitch where I play single-player games, multiplayer games. I do movie reviews, cartoon reviews, and a whole bunch of other stuff. Also, it would be a big help if you can check out my Patreon, where you can gain access to audio commentaries, reactions, and the ability to submit questions for my podcasts and videocasts. And all that content can be found in the links below. In the meantime, enjoy the video.
Nice outfit.
I'm Batman.
And now, my friends, let's go ahead and get into this review. I imagine it's gonna be a long one. There's going to be a lot of details we're going to go over. The history of this film, chat, the casting of this film, the behind-the-scenes shenanigans, and what led to a huge franchise for Warner Bros. A franchise they would abuse and later destroy. But we'll talk about the origins of said franchise, chat. But first and foremost, I have to ask you a very important question. That question being, how many of you have seen 1989's Batman, directed by Tim Burton, starring Michael Keaton and Jack Nicholson as the Batman and the Joker, respectively? I'm curious about this. I'm curious if we have some people who have not seen it, because that would be amazing. Austinic, yes. Chris Ayers, many times. Joker, yep, seen it. Casfe, yes, few times. Danny, but Keaton is donning Cape Cod. He is, it's crazy, man. It's nuts. He's come back to the roles. Here's Bucks is me. You see somebody, whoa, the main quotes are, wow, you haven't seen all of it. That's interesting. That's including you watch. That's right. We did the watch party not too long, about a year ago, I want to say, or something. I think within this year. Lisa, I saw it in the theater. Wow. That's amazing. Batboy, I've seen every Batman, obviously. I'm Batboy. That makes sense. Now I understand. Marvel Buff Nerd, yes, but this will be a nice refresh. I'll give my own version of the events of Batman 89, chat. Kingdom of Autumn, it's been a while, but I watched Batman Returns more. Interesting. There's a lot of people out there who I've noticed that are saying, like, they've either seen Returns more or they prefer that. Because I feel like the consensus is, like, the original Batman 89 is the superior film. But I am hearing more and more people really like Returns. There's a lot to like about Returns, believe me, I understand. It's interesting to hear that. Serious, I've seen Batman 89 a few times. Because there's Danny. I saw Batman Returns in the theater, but the projector. Oh my God! I'm so sorry. So it looks like we have most of you have seen it. We have one person who's kind of seen it, or at least seen a couple of clips. So that's pretty cool. As I said, chat, in case you don't know, in case you just got here, my initial exposure to Batman was not actually this movie. I think for a lot of people growing up, this was their first exposure to Batman. Mine actually was the animated series, which actually, we owe a lot to this film, chat. No matter how we feel about it, because this definitely has a mixed reception. Definitely years since, in the 30 years since, there's been a lot of critical analysis of it. A lot of people pointing out the flaws of it, good and the bad of the movie. But it's because of this movie that we got the animated series, chat. Because everyone was going Batman crazy. This was a pop culture phenomenon. It was one of the most well-marketed films of all time. It was one of the most financially successful films of all time, chat. Thank you.
Mr. Grinch, you really are a hero.
Thank you so much. Who's that new follower right there? Ike7, you're my new Huckleberry, you're my new Grinch. Welcome to stream. Talking about Batman 89. Talking about the history of it, the marking of it. Saying how this was, one of the first things I was exposed to in terms of Batman. My original thing was Batman the Animated Series. Loved it. Still probably my favorite adaptation of the character, as you guys know. Recently just reviewed an episode the other day, chat. But in terms of the first Batman films I've ever seen, this was the original one, chat. I remember in the 90s renting this from Blockbuster and watching it and watching again, watching on repeat, chat. I love this movie. I was obsessed with this movie. I also liked Returns as well. But this one was my favorite of that era of Batman. This is before, like, I was watching this movie before Batman Begins was even a thing. I was living in the time period, chat, when Warner Bros. Didn't know how to bring Batman back. I think this must have been, it was either just before or right when Batman Robin released. I think that's when I first saw this movie. So it's definitely, we're talking late 90s at this point. Widow baby Cheek Chris was watching this film and was obsessed with it, was doing the Joker dance, chat, was saying these lines, not knowing they're very inappropriate for a child to say, chat. There's a lot of sexual humor in both this movie and Returns. And just kind of depraved, and it's gross. But it had a huge cultural impact, chat. As I said before, it brought Tim Burton to prominence. I mean, he was already on the way up because of Pee-wee and obviously Beetlejuice. But this was the big one. This was the one that's like, holy shit! It was one of the most popular films of the '80s and certainly of the '90s. And and it had a huge impact on just the character itself. It influenced the history of Batman and stories that would follow in the future. And I have nostalgic feelings for this movie. There's things I love, like absolutely love about it. I love the production design. It's so cool. The costumes are great. I mean, Gotham feels it's very unique. It's also very Tim Burton, but it's been described as if a city was birthed from hell, because everything is kind of misshapen and you don't really know what year it's set in. It's kind of like a city out of time, and it's like the blending of the 80s but also like 40s, and it's very similar to the anime series, which the anime series took a note of, except where it was more Gothic architecture, they took Art Deco. This one was very much Gothic. And I really loved it. I absolutely loved the design. There's some super fun performances from Michael Keaton's Batman to Michael Gough's Alfred, who I think is really he does something fucked up in this movie, and I'm like, I would be like, you are fired, Alfred, or he has to kill him. It's one of two things. You're either fired, but it might be easier to kill Alfred for what he does. I mean, I would have got it. But yeah, I mean, obviously Michael Keaton's Batman, Jack Nicholson is Joker, who, yes, he is playing an exaggerated version of himself, but he's really fucking good at it. He's really good at it, chat. You get Bob the Goon, chat. Before there was Harley Quinn, there was Bob the Goon, okay? And Bob the Goon was loyal. He was so goddamn loyal to goddamn Jack Napier, Chad, then later the Joker, and fucking poor Bob the Goon. He was just doing what he was told. Bob, gun. Give him the gun. Bang! I was like, no, not Bob. He was such a good man, Chad. Such a good henchman. We should have saw the return of Bob the Goon, but I think because of Harley Quinn, we never saw him cross over to any other material. He might have been featured in something, Chad, but I have no idea. And of course, you have a number of other actors, though, who star in the film. No, they don't get as much to do. Will Hooton as Lieutenant Eckhart, who's clearly supposed to be Bullock. You got Pat Hingle as Commissioner Gordon, who loves the gamble and does not like physical activity, as we learned. We got fucking Billy Dee Williams as Harvey Dent, chat, which would have been so cool to have seen him as Two-Face later on the series. Sally never came to be, chat. We kind of see it a little bit in the Lego Batman movie and in the new Batman 89 comic, but it was like, hey, it was fun. It was fun to see him in that role. He would. I wish he got more scenes. Matter of fact, he's barely in the movie. He's more of like a tertiary character than anything. But it was cool to see him, chat. You can definitely tell that he'd make a very charming district attorney of Gotham City. So there's a lot I like about it. However, Tim Burton, he does take some artistic liberties with the property of Batman. He does change a few things, and he does let his actors do whatever the fuck they want, and that leads to some very odd scenes. There's also some stilted acting as well. I am not the biggest... I'm not the biggest fan of Kim Basinger's Vicki Vale, and I don't think it's her fault either. I just don't think she gets a lot to do. I mean, she's very much the damsel in distress, solving a mystery that we all know the answer to. It's like the fact that, who's Bruce Wayne? It's like, we know who he is. We know who he is. But this was before everyone really knew what was Bruce Wayne Batman's origin story. You gotta think about that. You gotta picture yourself at that time period. It's like, people know of Batman, but I'm sure there was a lot of people in the mainstream media who were like, oh, I didn't know Batman's parents are murdered. I think that was the case. But now we do, 30 plus years on. Nearly 40 years on, chat. Now it's common knowledge at this point. But back in the day, people were like, oh shit, and retells that origin quite iconically, makes some changes, which are controversial, of course. But yeah, Kim Basinger, doesn't get a lot to do. She's better than Jerry Hall. Jesus Christ, Jerry Hall, who I'm like, why are you allowing her to speak in the movie? My Lord. You can even tell Jack Nicholson's like, I don't know what I'm working with here. I have no idea. We're just going to write you out and kill you off screen, okay? That's fine. That's what they do. And you have some other, actors who are not the best. But still, it's a really fun movie. It's got a lot of fucking style, chat. Has an incredible score. Probably the honest out of anything. Probably the best thing about this movie is Danny Elfman's score. I feel like this was also brought him to prominence, much in the same way that John Williams, Jaws and Star Wars and Indiana Jones score brought him to prominence. This was Danny Elfman's big breakout. I feel. I'm sure. Yeah, I know he worked with Tim Burton beforehand. But this was the big one. This was the one that was like, the ba 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 ba. It's incredible. Absolutely incredible, chat. And like I said, it spawned a franchise, did Batman Returns, and we'll talk about that movie tomorrow. And then we have Batman Forever, and then Batman and Robin, and then the Dark Era. The Dark Years happened, chat, where they didn't know what to do with the franchise. I have done. Now, of this series, which there are 4 films in, they got different actors play different characters. I have already reviewed Batman and Robin. That will eventually be on my YouTube channel, chat. Class in a Glass. I think that is, I think we can all say that is probably the worst of this franchise. And now I'm going to review what I think a lot of people consider to be, or at least, definitely there's some people that would disagree, but a lot of people, what I personally consider to be the best film in this particular franchise, this 4-film franchise, is Batman 1989, chat. And we start, and we're going to get nitty-gritty details right now, and we start with a really cool opening, chat. It's very simple, very simplified. You get that yellow text, and we're going through a labyrinth. It's like we're going through some kind of maze. It's like, what the hell's happening? We don't know, chat. We don't know until we finally pull out. They were literally in a Leviathan-sized logo, the Batman logo itself, chat. We were going around all those nooks and crannies and curves, but we come out, and it's the Batman logo. It's like, that was pretty cool. And then, boom, we are in the middle of Gotham City, chat. What time period are we on? What century is this? What decade? We don't know. It's a city out of time. As I said, it's as if this city was birthed from Tim Burton hell, chat. All these random pipes and gothic architecture and steam and smoke and smog mixed with the denizens of Gotham City, chat. And you know what those denizens are, chat? Whores, pimps, gangsters, criminals, and the poor, sorry saps who are still stuck in this city, chat. As the Joker said, this city isn't meant for good people. Good people shouldn't live here. And you can tell. Now, I want you to take note of this particular environment that we're in, because you will see it constantly in the movie. Gotham City is pretty much just the square, if you will. You have the Monarch Theater. You got the Monarch Theater, you have City Hall, and you have Carl Grissom, Jack Palance's apartment, along with Jack Nicholson's apartment. And that's pretty much it. That's, for whatever reason, this is the only part of the movie. Anywhere around the street and Crime Alley. You also see Crime Alley. That is Gotham. There's about 150 to 200 people that live in Gotham City. Most of them are criminals and drug addicts and possibly zombies, chat. Because some of these guys look really fucking sick. Glee, good to see you. No problem at all, Glee. I started early. You're totally good. You're right. You're right on time. Happy to have you here. Welcome, and thank you for the Wonder Biddies. And Luke the Boss, thank you. Oh, yeah, it feels small, more like, it feels even smaller in Batman Returns. It does, because we were just in that little, that even smaller square with the fucking Christmas tree. And then you see Max Shrek's supermarket across the street, and that's about it. It's fucking nuts. And Penguin's underground lair. Very small movie, even though he got a bigger budget. It was weird. Thank you, though, Luke the Boss, for the 2 biddies. And thank you again, Glee. Hope you're doing well. Spectre Saunders, good to see you. KC, welcome to the stream. Hope you're doing well. I'll probably return to the Sunday service this Sunday, my friend. But thank you. It's a pleasure to... It's nice to be missed. It's nice to be missed. But hell itself is birthed in Gotham City, chat, and it's filled with whores, and it's filled with pimps and gangsters and criminals and possibly zombie hobos. But we see this intrepid trio, chat, this family of three. This father who is incredibly confused. His name is Harold, chat, and he's trying to hail a taxi. His son is telling him, "Dad, we're going the wrong way." Mom is like, "Harold, what are you doing? We need to leave here. There's so many people." She doesn't like it. She's not used to such a big crowd in the middle of Gotham City, chat. And Harold's like, "I'm trying, mother. I'm trying to hail down the cab." And these people in Gotham are like, "Fuck you, this is my cab." They just get in the cab. And, he's like, "Oh, sir, that was my cab." But, fucking dad is such a beta male. He doesn't have the balls to fight for his cab, chat, like any Gothamite would. And so he takes his son and he takes his wife down Crime Alley, which is so smart, chat. And we just see a lot of weird, gross people. It's not just hobos, chat. Like, there's something physically wrong with them. Because they pass by, like, these two people. I always notice, because I've seen this movie so many times. Now I'm just, like, literally watching the background for details. And there's, like, these two people that are fighting over a sandwich. There's, like, a sub sandwich. And there's one woman that's going, "Ah!" just like with her hands like that, as the guy, "This is my sandwich." She's like, "Ah!" And she really wants that sandwich, Chef. Next time you watch the movie, as you follow this family of three, watch in the background as they pass by the sandwich hobo. So I was like, that's interesting. But they keep going down Crime Alley, and we have this one bum who seemingly looks like a bum, chat. And he's like, "Hey, mister, give me $1. And if you look at him, he's sick with something. He's super pale. He's sweaty. He has really bad acne, chat. He has super big circles around his eyes. It's like, is there like a plague in Gotham or something? Do people not have access to medical facilities? I mean, healthcare in the United States, even '89 was awful, chat. It's just scurvy. Yeah, they're not eating their vegetables or fruits or drinking any juice, chat. No, as soon as you turn 12 years old, when you go to a Gotham school, you start drinking whiskey and you get cigarettes instead of mashed potatoes and carrots, okay? That is your meal plan in a Gotham school. And clearly these kids indulge in a little too much. But you got this one bum who's like, "Come on, mister, just $1, Jesus Christ, whatever." He's watching him, and Harold turns the corner. Bah! He gets punched in the face, chat. And the missus, the mom and the kid, they're accosted by this one guy with a gun, chat. And he's like, "Hey, broad, do me a favor and don't scream." And he steals her purse and they steal the dad's wallet and they run off. They run off with the ill-gotten gains, chat. As the mom's like, "Oh, oh." And then we cut. And, in hindsight, it's like, okay, this is kind of fucked up. Doesn't make any sense. Because we cut up, and above them, Batman is just watching this all happen. And he's like, "Oh, yeah, I remember that. That sucks." It's like, Batman, you're supposed to stop that. Batman lets crime happen, and then he deals with it kind of later on. But he's not doing anything. He's like, "I've been there. That sucks. Anyway," he just turns around and walks away. So Batman's not really good at being Batman in this movie, chat. Like, he gets a couple of cool Batman scenes, but right off the bat, like, not great. Not great. Yeah, you know what? That's a good point, Danny. It's like the 80s crashed into the 30s and 40s. Like the fashion sense and culture, and they kind of live together, and it's weird, but they both want to, like, destroy each other at the same time. It's like an amalgamation of both. It's pretty good. But then we cut, and we have the two weird zombie bums talking like about the robbery they just made, and you have the one regretful bum who's like, "Hey man, hey Billy, I mean I don't know if you should have pulled that gun on that kid, man. I mean that was kind of bad." He's like, "Shut up. Shut the fuck up." And he's like, "Do you want this money or not, all right?" And he's going to the guy's wall. He's like, "Oh, American Express card. Don't leave home without it." And he's like just gross and he's even grosser than the other zombie bum. He's got like stubble and there's just mucus coming down his nose. It's like, what are these guys infected with? But they're doing this whole thing. And he's like, listen, man, I just, we keep doing this all the time. We keep, ripping all these people off. And it just got me thinking about Johnny Gobbs. I mean, they say the bat got him. And it's like, Johnny Gobbs, what are you talking about? Johnny Gobbs, he fucking fell 20 stories. Everyone said they saw a bat drop him, man, the bat. He's like, Johnny Gobb was fucking high, all right? He was high, and he took a fucking header off a roof. And they say that his body didn't have any blood, though, Billy. He's like, yeah, of course his body didn't have any fucking blood. It was over the pavement, which is actually pretty funny. And while they're just going back and forth, Batman literally drops down behind them, which is fucking awesome. It's super cool how he just comes down there. And again, the set direction, which I think it won an Academy Award, or was nominated. It deserved it. Beautiful. I love the set design. I love the Gothic architecture. 80s mixed with the 30s and 40s. It's really, really cool and inspired. But he's just fucking coming down behind them. And he's like, they say the Batman, he can fly, he can do all these things, Billy. I mean, I'm scared. He's like, don't worry about it, okay? I'll protect you. Do you want this money or not? And then they hear someone walking behind, they look up, and Batman just goes, raw. He unfurls his cape, chat, and it's so majestic. And they go, whoa! And they fucking freak out. They get up. And Batman just throws down his cape, and as he approaches them, it's Michael Keaton going like this, because he can't turn his neck, chat. So for the cape and cowl, for whatever reason, they're like, we're going to make sure that our actor will never be able to move his neck in this costume. And I guess it's cool, like the silhouette and design, but as you see him move later on, he can only move his torso like this, which makes fighting very difficult. But in this scene, it fucking works because he just hits the first zombie hobo /robber chat. He just fucking yeets him through a door. He goes through a wooden door, bah! And then Billy tries to take off. He tries to run, but then Batman pulls out for the first time, chat, ever in cinematic history. This is history in the making, a Batarang, chat, and it's fucking huge. It's like you could bludgeon someone to death with this Batarang. He fucking does it, gets around the guy's legs, pulls him, and Michael Keaton's just going, this guy's like, oh my God. He just drags him, he's like, don't kill me, man, fucking don't kill me. And Michael Keaton's Batman voice. And then when we think of Batman, typically in the live action films, he always sounds like this. Like Christian Bale does that. Oh, you're rattling cages. Where's the trigger? You wouldn't have given it to an ordinary citizen. And Ben Affleck's like, he has like a robot voice. Like that. I'm like, I don't like that. I don't like the robot voice. Keaton is just a whisper. He drops a couple octaves, and he's very serious, and he's very blunt. He also can be sarcastic when he does Batman voice too, which is pretty funny, especially in Returns. But I really love, he probably had Rachel. He probably has the best Batman voice. Obviously not counting Kevin Conroy. He has the best Batman voice. But in terms of the live action Batmans, he has the best voice. He's like, I'm not going to kill you. And he's like, oh, what do you want me to do, man? I want you to tell your friends about me. Okay, man. Who are you? I'm Batman. And he fucking throws him. He's like, oh. And he just fucking yeets himself off the yeets. He yeets himself off the ledge. And Billy, the robber zombie hobo, he's, oh my God. He just fucking laughs. He can't believe what he fucking just saw, chap. But it's awesome. Eventually, we cut from that. And we're with the mayor, who is introducing the mayor of Gotham City is introducing the new district attorney. Everyone loves him. He's smooth, he's kind, and he has Gotham's best intentions at heart. He is a new face, if you will, for Gotham. Introducing district attorney Harvey Dent, played by Billy Williams. And he only gets a couple of scenes. And Wish he was in it more, but he's up there, he's schmoozing, he's like, like the mayor, I know we're about to celebrate. We're very excited to celebrate Gotham's 200th anniversary, and sadly, our city has fallen on hard times. Crime is up. Drug addiction is up, but I'm hoping that we can take down scumbags like that criminal who lives in his ivory white tower, Carl Grissom, because there are good people living Gotham. And there's heroes in all of us. And then we cut, chef, to a TV screen of someone watching this, and we're introduced to Jack Nicholson's character of Jack Napier. He's the number 2, if you will, to Carl Grissom's criminal empire, chat, and he's sitting there, he's playing with his fucking cards already, he's got his feet up and shit, and you see Jerry Hall come over behind him, chat. Jerry Hall is an actress, she's also married to Rupert Murdoch right now, the head of the Fox News Corporation. He's a piece of shit, she's a piece of shit. And she cannot act to save her life, but Jack fucking Nicholson manages to make this scene work. It's all on him. It's completely on him, Chad. Good to see you, Alec. Hope you're doing well. Oh, JME August, hope you're doing well. Hope you're having a nice evening. Talking about Jack Nicholson's Joker. But he's sitting up there, and he's like, there are no heroes in Gotham City, and good people shouldn't live here. You don't think there's good people here, Jack? No, Jerry Hall, no, I don't. I don't think so. And he gets up talking about how, Harvey Dent's talking about my boss really makes my blood boil. The thing is, though, Jerry, times are a-changing. Carl's an old man, and we need a fresh perspective to handle the new criminal empire that shall soon be born. And he goes over the fucking mirror, and he's like, look at himself. He's like, ooh, I'm looking good and everything. And Jerry Hall comes over, and she's like, you're looking fine. And he's like, I didn't ask, which is so fucking great. What a great goddamn line. Also, she's kind of concerned because she says, well, if you have all these criminal aspirations going after, Carl Grissom, I mean, what if he finds out about us? Won't that be bad? He's like, don't you worry your little pretty head about that, okay? Jackie will take care of it. And so we then cut from that scene, chat, and I believe, oh, yes. After that, we were with Lieutenant Eckhart, chat. Lieutenant Eckhart, who clearly is supposed to be Harvey Bullock, but for whatever reason, they don't use the name. He looks like Harvey Bullock, but they don't use it. Played by William Hookins, chat, who also played Porkins in Star Wars A New Hope. He's the fat guy that blows up. I mean, his name is Porkins after all. As also, he plays one of the FBI agents, one of the G-men, which recruits Indiana Jones to go after the Ark of the Covenant. He's the one that says, we have top men, Dr. Jones. He's that guy. He's back, and they dub over most of his dialogue for some reason I don't understand. And he's monitoring the situation, the crime scene with the 2 bums, chat. The one guy, he's fucking paralyzed from the neck down. He ain't walking anymore, chat. Billy's a raving maniac at this point. And then we're introduced to the character of Mr. Knox. He's a reporter for the Gotham Gazette. He comes over, and he's been doing all these stories on Batman. Everyone thinks Batman's a fluke. It's a lie. It's an urban legend. He's not real. But Alexander Knox, he believes there's something to this. And he's asking, excuse me, Lieutenant Eckhart, do you have any quotes in regards to the appearance of the Batman? Anything we want to put on record? And he's like, nah. And for whatever reason, for William Hookins, they decide to make him sound like Nick Nolte. It's like, Batman wasn't involved. He's not real. Knox. All right, these two assholes slipped on a banana peel. But then Billy, the zombie thief, he comes over. He's like, oh, Jesus Christ, man. It was a giant bat. It was a fucking Batman. And, he's like, Knox is like, you want to put that on record? Here, you can put this on record, Knox. You're full of shit. You can quote me on that. And he throws his cigar at Knox, chat, and, Knox, he's like, all right, fuck it, I'll quote that. And, Eckhart, he waddles off, and he goes down, I'll go. You just watch me, I'll go. Dark Things, my bitch. You just got Nick Nolte instead of Bargain. That would have been amazing, because he could have done the voice. Now, there are times when they do use William Hootkin's real voice, but he sounds very different. And I'm like, why? When you first watch, you'll miss it. But later on, it's like, that's not, his voice is very different all of a sudden. It's odd. No Name Woman, welcome to the stream, and thank you for the 10 biddies. I hope you're doing very well. Look at all the quality people we got in here. But he waddles down Crime Alley, chat, and who is he there to meet? Fucking Jack Napier, chat. And he's like, how you doing, Lieutenant Eckhart? Here, I got you a snack. And it's literally a wad of money in between 2 pieces of bread. And he's just insult to injury, just saying, like, you're fat. Here's your money. Which I think is pretty funny. And, Eckhart's like, you shouldn't have come down here. well, you can't expose this relationship, Jack. And he's like, I can do whatever I want, Eckhart. It's fine. Don't worry about it. And he's like, listen, I only people I listen to are Carl Grissom, okay? He's like, yeah. And the big man wants to know he doesn't like all the sniffing that's going down at Axis Chemicals. Now, they changed the name of Ace Chemicals to Axis Chemicals in the movie for some reason. I guess because Axis, like Axis of Evil, sounds worse compared to, Ace Chemicals. But anyways, that's what it is, Ace Chemicals, but they call it Axis Chemicals. And he's like, well, that's my territory. If it's in my territory, I'll take care of it. And he's like, listen to me, Eckhart, okay? I need you to do this for me. I work for Grissom, not you. Well, you better start thinking about the future, okay? You know what something new is gonna come along. Is like, you in charge? Are you kidding? You're a grade A crazy boy, Jack. A wacko, a psychopath. There's no way Carl Grissom would let a loony like you take over. And then Jack Nicholson doesn't punch him. He just puts his whole hand in his face and just pushes him against the wall. And this sets Eckhart off. He's like, pulls out his fucking gun. But the thing is, chat, you're like, Jack, he doesn't even lift a finger to pull out his gun, because you know who he has by his side, chat? Before there was Harley Quinn, as I said before, chat, before there was Harley Quinn, there was Bob the Goon. And you wish you had a Bob the Goon in your life. This guy will ride or die with you, chat. He is loyal to a fucking fault, because he does a fucking sick move where he comes up behind Jack Nicholson, Jack Napier, and pulls a gun on Eckhart like that, and Jack's he doesn't even bat an eye. He's like, yeah, it's Bob. You treat him with respect. And he's like, I'll see you later, Eckhart. And they walk away, and fucking Eckhart's like, where have you been spending your nights? And he eats his money sandwich. I assume he consumes the money that way with the bread. He's like, well, it is a snack. Eventually, we cut from that, chat, and, yes. He's like, make a good decision, Eckhart. Eventually, we cut to the mayor. And he wants a parade. Like, he's like, I want a fucking parade, okay, Harvey? And Harvey's like, listen, we're already like $250,000 over budget for this parade. We haven't even built the fucking floats yet, Mr. Mayor. And with Carl Grissom still in control and all these criminal, enterprises still up, I think it's important that we actually just focus on people's safety. And the mayor's like, fuck that. I want parades. I want balloons. I want hot dogs. I don't give a shit about safety. And Harvey's like, okay, I'll try to get it all done at once. Poor Harvey, Chad. He's so put upon. Eventually, Knox, he also shows up, and he's trying to get a quote for the paper about the Batman, and the mayor's like, no quote, no comment. Harvey's like, you listen, I know you've heard a lot about this bat figure, this Batman, but we can assure you that Gotham's finest is on the case trying to protect the citizens of Gotham City, and it's not with the help of this vigilante known as Batman, who I don't even believe even exists. And all the other reporters are like, yeah, Knox, you're a fucking asshole. Throwing hookers and blow while you're at it. Yeah, that would have been great. Hey, it's a party, isn't it? And eventually everyone laughs at him, and Knox is like, oh, well. He leaves, Chad, and he goes back to the Gotham Gazette, where he is bullied by every single reporter. Now, to be fair, Knox is kind of an asshole. He's really obnoxious. So he brings it on himself. And when he's like, hey, Alex, hey, Knox, did you find that Batman, that man bat? It's called the Batman, and I have not yet found him, as you know. And this one cartoonist is like, hey, Knox, I got a little present for you. And it's literally him, except he has like a big old bat head. He goes, haha, this is cute, you fucking asshole. But you know who he sees at his desk, Chad? Makes him feel a little bit better? Legs. Hello, Legs. And for the rest of the movie, Knox works with Vicki Vale, and he is constantly and consistently lusting after her. It's like, she's your work partner, and you're like, let me take you to lunch, let me take you to dinner, let's go have some fun at my place. It's like, stop it. Stop it. He's always staring at her boobs like this. But we see Kim Basinger up on that desk, legs splayed out, showing off what she's got. And he's like, hello, Legs. She goes, oh, you must be Alexander Knox, the reporter who's really into Batman. I am indeed. Can I get your number? Can I take you out for a date? How you come back to my place? Enjoy good whiskey. You like whiskey, right? She's like, haha, no, you're not my type. And he's like, oh, he's always sad about it. And he's mad at later on in the movie at Bruce Wayne because she's clearly in a relationship with him. He's like, but I want to be in a relationship with you. She's like, no, you're cute. You're so cute. But she's like, yeah, listen, I just got back from Corto Maltese. This is a cool little reference. So this movie obviously came out after The Dark Knight Returns, which kind of revitalized. I mean, it played an important role, not only in revitalizing Batman, but also revitalizing interests in comic books in general. Dark Knight Returns is a very dark take on Batman, especially, you know, after the era of the Adam West, or the Adam West era. It was very cartoony and campy and fun. That's where it started to get really gritty again and dark. And then you also had the Killing Joke as well, which this movie takes from both of those to a degree. But you hear that she was a war photographer in Corto Maltese chat, which was featured, obviously, which was the first time his feature was in The Dark Knight Returns, and also in The Suicide Squad. Yeah, you're right, Chris Harris. Yeah, think of what it is. Most recently featured in The Suicide Squad, which I think is really cool. And he's like, oh, why? What do you do in a place like Gotham City? Shouldn't you be traveling the world? She's like, listen, I'm actually like really interested in this Batman here. I mean, I feel like this is being really slept on. I feel like there's a Pulitzer that we can go for. He's like, I would love a Pulitzer Prize. I would also love you. She's like, I'm sure you would. So let's go ahead and work together on this. And he's like, sure, that sounds great. She goes, great, but we're gonna need some financing since the paper won't support us. And so I've organized tickets to this gala being hosted by this guy named Bruce Wayne. Do you know him? He's like, I have no idea who that is. Why does no one know who Bruce Wayne is? These are reporters. I'm sure at one point, one of these reporters, a story about Bruce Wayne has crossed their desk. One of the richest men in the world. One of the most well-known socialites in Gotham City history. But nope. No one knows who he is. And they're like, I never heard of him. And she's like, well, we're going to need some financing for our stories, of course. And I think he'd be a great guy to go to get a grant. And he's like, I agree with you. Eventually, we cut to Carl Grissom, chat. He is the reigning crime boss of Gotham City. Anytime a crime is committed, it's not without his knowledge, chat. He has a fucking finger in every pie, if you will. And he's talking about the Axis chemical situation with his lawyers. He owns that. He uses that as a way to, I mean, obviously get more money. Yeah, it's one of his legitimate businesses, but it's a cover for all of his nefarious activities, Chad. He's like, I got to get all those materials out of there soon, like all those documents, everything. I can't let anyone know I have all this stuff. And it's like, what are we going to do? The lawyers are like, well, in order to do those documents, the legal process would take too long. By that time, the GCPD will seize all of it. And Jack Nicholson, Jack Napier, he's like, I have an idea, Carl, if you don't mind. Why don't we just do a little bit of corporate espionage, send some of the boys over there, grab the files, destroy it, little arson. It'll be no problem at all. And fucking Carl's like, that's a really good idea, Jack. I think you should be in charge of that operation. And Jack's like, me? And he takes out the Joker card all of a sudden, which is weird. What a coincidence, Jack. And right when that happens, the elevator, Carl's private elevator opens where Jerry Hall steps out, and she tries to act, but she walks away, and, Jax is following her like a fucking dog, telling everything. Carl takes notice of this, and he's like, boys, I'm gonna go talk with my number 2 guy right now, okay? I'll see you later. Or my main man. And they all fucking leave. Jack, goes over to him, he says, listen, Carl, I just wanted to, change your mind if I could. If you can get someone else to do the job, maybe Max or something. I mean, all those chemicals and fumes, I just wouldn't like it. He goes, Jack, listen to me. You're my number 1 guy. I need you on this, okay? I trust no one more than you. And he goes, all right, man, I guess I can do it. And he goes, of course you can. Oh, wait, one thing before you leave, your lucky deck. And he just I don't know how to describe it, but he puts all the cards in the hat, goes, and it's all over the place. I'd be like, what the fuck, man? I had those all organized. And he walks out. Then Carl, he gets on the phone, and he calls Lieutenant Eckhart saying, hey, Eckhart, I want you to kill Jack Napier. He's been sleeping with Jerry Hall, and I will not have it. Eckhart. Kill him. We're gonna bamboozle him, set up a little trap. He's like, oh God, yes. He's very excited about that, chat. Eventually, we cut to the big old extravaganza, Chad, the big old party happening at Bruce Wayne's mansion, Chad, at Wayne Manor, where for some reason you can gamble. I don't know what kind of license Bruce Wayne has, but he has all these fucking gambling tables set up. Now, I know it's for charity, I guess, but people are still making money. I'm very confused about the legality of it. Maybe people are like, we don't give a fuck. It's Bruce Wayne, all right? He gets away with it. It's fine. He'll get a little, ooh, Bruce, don't do that again. Anyway, see you next year. That's what they do. He's got this all set up, and this is where, like, the introduction of both Bruce, but also Alfred, played by Michael Gough. And Michael Gough, is gambling not legal in Gotham? Well, can you have gambling in a private establishment at your own home? Isn't that racketeering? Can you do that? That's illegal gambling, right? I'm pretty sure that's illegal gambling. So I don't think so. Like, on that scale, on that mass scale, I think that's not good. Batman's cool gambling. Apparently so. He's like, it's fine. Don't worry about it. But we also get the introduction of Alfred, and Michael Gough's really cool in this scene because throughout it, he's constantly just picking stuff up, and like the people are leaving behind, like instantly. Like we see in one scene where Bruce is like, he has a glass, he puts it down, Alfred catches it at the last second. Bruce just puts like a pen in a plant. Alfred just picks it up immediately. He's like, he's fucking really good at his job. He's like 99% of the time, he makes the right decision. Except one time. Except one time, we'll get to it. But I love it. He's a really cool Alfred, chat. Except when he's not. Eventually, we're following various, party goers, but we focus. Ooh.
Mr. Grinch, you really are a heel.
Thank you so much. Who is that with the follow? Who's my new Grinch? Vlad, Jack, think of the follow. You're my new Huckleberry / Grinch. Hope you're doing very well today. Currently reviewing Batman 1989. We are with Vicki Vale. She's going to the party. All the fucking men are like, you're so hot. Oh, they can't believe themselves. But Vicki, she's not interested in any of them. She knows she's good looking, okay? But she's trying to find Bruce Wayne, and she walks up to Bruce Wayne. She's like, hey, do you happen to know who Bruce Wayne is? And fucking Michael Keaton's like, why doesn't anyone know who I am in this movie? And he goes, and he's smitten instantly. He's like, oh my God, you're so pretty. Even Batman can't resist the feminine wiles, chat, of Vicki Vale, played by Kim Basinger. I don't know what it is, chat. Maybe the fact that she lacks a complete personality and he's just into that kind of thing. I'm not sure. I don't know. But he's just like, oh, I don't know. And she's like, all right. And she just walks away and he just follows her for the rest of this scene. And he like takes some champagne, drinks it. Alfred catches that shit before it smashes on the floor. Bruce was like signing something. He puts the pen in a fucking bush. Alfred picks it up and he always has this look like, yes, sir. And I love it. He's a great Alfred. 2 biddies. Thank you, the Dark 7 2 biddies. I want to fill her void. Yes, he does. In this case, Bruce does want to fill her void, chat. Yeah, no, hopefully not Danny DeVito Penguin style, but yes, it's true. But yeah, no one knows who Bruce Wayne is, and she's constantly asking people who he is, and they're like, we have no idea. It's like, you're in his house. If I was going to someone's house, if I was told we're going to go to this person, like this billionaire industrialist house, I'd be like, I would probably be like, what does the guy look like? I would ask that. Well, let me know who that guy is. And everyone's like, no, we don't know. It's like fucking weird. Knox is also schmoozing, chat. He goes over to this craps table where fucking Commissioner Gordon is gambling. He's a gambling addict, chat. Where he's playing craps. He's blowing the dice. He's like, hey, Barb, go ahead and blow on him. And, she's like, Harvey, come over here, blow on these dice. They're so hot. And he's throwing them, chat. He's making a lot of money. Knox, he's trying to get a quote from Commissioner Gordon about the Batman, about this operation, apparently trying to bring down Carl Grissom. He's like, I know nothing about that. I have nothing to say about Batman. He leaves, and he tries to get a quote from Harvey Dent. Harvey Dent's like, I fucking told you, man. I don't know anything about the Batman. I'm sorry. And he's like, no, God damn it. Eventually, though, Gordon, he's pulled aside by an officer. I think his name is Albert, chat. Albert's a good cop, good street cop. And then he just was informed that there's something big going down at Axis Chemicals, one of Carl Grissom's fronts. And Commissioner Gordon's like, well, who's going over there? Who's in charge of the operation? And he's like, Lieutenant Eckhart. So he's like, oh my God. Why now this is not like Gordon where he's like a sergeant or a lieutenant or anything, or he's like some beat cop. He's commissioner of the Gotham City Police Force. Why is he letting a corrupt piece of shit? He knows Eckhart is corrupt. He's like, oh my God. As soon as he hears the name, it's like, we got to go over there now to stop him from doing whatever he's doing. Why is he fired Lieutenant Eckhart? It makes no fucking sense. So honestly, we learn later on, you're right, Chris Ayers, Pat Hingle's Gordon's is a goof. He's a goofy goober, Chad. He's not very good at his job. Thankfully, busted 2 minis. Oh, shit, my mic almost fell. Oh, just real quick. Do Commissioner Gordon dirty throw? Oh, yes, they do. It gets worse for him, especially in the Schumacher era. It gets even worse. It's so bad. They kind of do him dirty in this movie. He's kind of incompetent. He's either getting captured or showcasing his lack of athletic prowess. I mean, Pat Hingle's a heavy man. Nothing wrong with that, Chad, but my Lord, he gives up very easily. At the end of the movie, where like the Joker, he releases the bell by squirting the acid on it, and Pat Hingle's like, all right, forget it. Let's go outside and turn the floodlights on. It's like, okay. Nothing to do. Eventually, Vlad Jack Lowe, this is weird. No one really knows who Bruce is. I know, that's what I'm saying, man. It's crazy. Bunch of people crashing the beds for free food. They went there with the free food and wine and gambling. They're like, Bruce Wayne, oh yeah. I mean, I don't know him, but hey, great guy. I love him. I love Bruce. Good old Bruce Wayne. But he hears all this shit, and he's got a good ear check, because he picks this up. He's like, oh, I must inform Master Bruce of this information. But for right now, we see Knox and Vicki Vale. They sync up and they start exploring different parts of the mansion. And Bruce is just right behind them, and they don't even notice him. They go into this big room, which is filled with all these pieces of art and these suits of armor from different cultures. And Knox is like, can you believe this room, Vicky? She goes, I know. It's so ostentatious. This guy, Bruce Wayne, I mean, he's just some rich schlub, I bet. I mean, probably ugly looking. And Bruce is like right behind them. They have no peripheral vision or self-awareness to know that he's there. And he's just listening, hearing all this. I think he's kind of just amused by it. And he's like, look at this guy. Look at this. They're pointing to this one suit of armor, which is clearly samurai armor. And it's like, where the hell did this guy come from? What is he? Is he talking to Kuta Kinte? It's like racism. Okay, very good, Alexander Knox. And Bruce is like, actually, I bought it. It's Japanese. And he's like, what are you talking about? And he's like, hi, I'm Bruce Wayne. He goes, oh, I said all that racist stuff and also insensitive stuff about you. Can I have a grant? Bruce is like, sure, man, you can have a grant. Witness me. Exar Gaming, thank you so much for the raid. I hope you're doing very well. Good to see you. Just talking about Alexander Knox's racism and his big fat mouth. But he got what he wanted. Bruce is like, money means nothing to me. I can literally buy anything. And yet no one knows who I am. It's a very sad state of affairs. But fucking he gives, Knox his grant. And Vicki Vale's like, oh my God, you're the guy who I met earlier who I didn't pay attention to at all, but now that I know you're Bruce Wayne, you're super sexy. I wonder why, chat. And he's like, well, nice to meet you, Ms. Vale. She's like, listen, Bruce, can I have like an interview sometime? It'd be great to like interview you and, talk about stuff, lots of stuff about Wayne Industries, Enterprises. I don't know who you are. And he's like, you know what? Let's meet over dinner. We could talk about it. And Alfred comes in. Oh, actually, this is interesting, because anytime you see like a Batman thing, it's always Alfred the butler, like no other butlers. But we see this other random butler come in, and he's like, Master Bruce, there's no more champagne on the floor. May I open several casks worth for our guests? And Bruce is like, yeah, open up the 6 other casks or whatever. 6 enough? He goes, yes, sir, that's enough. He goes, yeah, go ahead and do that. Do these guys know that Bruce is also Batman? I'm curious about that. The wait staff, Chase. He's like maybe he just hired these guys for this party or whatever. This charity event for the parade, the 200th anniversary of Gotham City's founding. I don't know. I don't think so. That they would. They're all privy to his secrets, chat. But then after that,
Alfred comes in and he goes, Master Wayne, Commissioner Gordon just left in quite a hurry. And Bruce is like, okay, Alfred, thanks for telling me. He's like, no, well, it seemed to be of great importance. He's like, oh, okay, Alfred. All right. Yeah. All right. Well, I got to get going. I got to get back to my guests. If you guys need anything, just let me know. Alfred, give this racist man a grant. Work on yourself, okay? But I like your stories about Batman. They're pretty cool. Alexander Knox is like, I'm not a racist. It was just a bad... Okay. And he's like, Vicki Vale, I'll see you later, honey. And she's like, yay, you're rich and I like you now. And so he leaves, and then Alexander Knox is like, oh, Vicki Vale says, what a strange man, what a weird man. And he's like, yeah, well, that's the thing about the rich. They can afford to be weird. And then he looks at this giant mirror, and he's like, I mean, can you believe this giant mirror right here? What do they call him, Bruce Wayne? Shut up. Shut up, Alexander Knox. And then we look behind the mirror, and it's this giant fucking camera, which is creepy. And so we cut to the Batcave. First time we see the Batcave, chat. And Bruce is just watching all the partygoers. And he apparently has the most advanced camera. I guess it makes sense. He's extremely wealthy. He's a billionaire. He has the most advanced camera equipment in the world. And there is some camera on the gambling floor where there's hundreds of people, but he's able to isolate the sound between Commissioner Gordon and Albert, the street cop, the beat cop, picks it up perfectly, finds out about Axis Chemicals, learns that it's one of Carl Grissom's fronts, and Lieutenant Eckhart, oh no, is also going to be there. He's like, I got to go there, Alfred. Get my suit ready right away. Thankfully, most of the duties. I like when there are other butlers, like in Batman vs. Dracula, he throws a party and he has hired multiple waiters to cater. I guess, he caters. He's hired these people. I guess they're not, like, on the staff. It's just for this thing. So he must just hire them for something. What do you do? I mean, you do have that kind of thing, which is cool. So eventually, chat. Oh, Darkseid, they're not 3 minutes. This is what Josh should become. He was a billionaire. Yeah. He's on cams. Bruce is on cams. Josh is on cams. Very true. Very true. Eventually, we cut to... so this is the first time we see Bruce. This is an interesting look. So Keaton has a particular look when he's in the Batcave. He's not wearing the suit, but he loves wearing black turtleneck sweaters, jeans without belts, and glasses, round glass, like Harry Potter style. And it's interesting that this Batman is farsighted. Like, he can't see things close up and he needs glasses, which is weird to me. But I don't know. I like the look. He wears Wrangler blue jeans, chat. I noticed the brand. I was like, oh, I know that brand. I have that brand. I wear the same blue jeans, chat, as Bruce Wayne. I can be Batman too, chat, which is awesome. But he gets suited up and shit. Eventually, we cut back to Lieutenant Eckhart, who's like, all right, everyone. Yeah, here's your guy. His name is Jack Napier. Shoot to kill. You get me? You get me? It's like, yeah, shoot him and kill him. We get it. We understand, Lieutenant Eckhart. And then we cut to Jack Napier and his boys, chat. They've infiltrated Axis Chemicals. They're at the safe. They get that sucker open. They open up, but all the fucking files are gone. And Jack looks around like, well, boys, looks like we've been bamboozled. Everybody scatter. Let's get back to the headquarters, chat. But, fucking Lieutenant Eckhart has entered the building at this point, and all of his fucking corrupt cops, they're going and they're trying to gun down Napier's men and Napier himself. And so they take off a fucking run in every sort of direction, Chad. Eventually, Commissioner Gordon, he also arrives on the scene, and he's directing cops, and he's trying to find Eckhart to stop him from murdering Jack Napier, because he wants to bring him in alive, Chad. We're not going to kill this man, okay? He needs to be brought to justice, made an example of. And so we follow all these guys shooting, like these fucking shootouts at the cops and things. Jack Napier, he's trying to escape. He gets this axe at one point. He cuts into these giant vats of chemicals and it spreads across the whole complex, just melting cops. Just melting all the police officers, Chad. It's like, Jesus Christ. But eventually, Chad, fucking Batman enters onto the scene and he starts beating the shit out of all these guys, Chad. They never stood a chance against the Batman. Eventually, Jack, he goes up to this one control area and starts, flipping all these knobs and turning these dials and pushing these buttons, Chad, just sending the complete, sending all the factory into chaos at this point. And he
Right before he's about to get going, chat, holy shit, he's accosted by the Batman. Batman walks up and grabs him, and Jack Nicholson has this great line where he goes, Jesus, which is what you would say if Batman suddenly grabbed you and just lifted you off the fucking floor. But very genuine reaction. But chat, fucking Bob the Goon, he's like, let go of my man. And he's pointing a gun at Pat Hingle's head, at Commissioner Gordon's head. He's like, hey, freak, put him down. Let him go or the commissioner gets it. And Batman's like, fuck. I don't want you to shoot Commissioner Gordon. I know we're not really friends yet, but I do like him. And he's like, he slowly puts down, Jack Napier. And Jack Nicholson, he like backs up a few steps and he goes, nice outfit. I love that fucking line. He then turns around, grabs his gun, about to pull on Batman, but Batman just fucking vanishes, chat. It's like, ooh, he did the Batman vanish. It's like, which is really cool. And Bob the Goon's like, come on, Jack, let's get out of here. But then we see, for whatever reason, Lieutenant Eckhart's just in the background, like, waddling around, just, it's like, why don't you just fucking take off running? He's like, I'm not gonna run away. But he's just waddling around, and fucking Jack Napier, he spots him. He's like, hey, Eckhart, think about the future. Boom! And he fucking shoots him, chat. And he has that, like, slow fat man fall, where he doesn't really fall very fast. Because I imagine, I'm not making fun of Will. I mean, I'm making fun of Will Hoogans a bit. But he was a large man, chat, especially during this time. But I can only imagine his fat rolls and folds got stuck in the machinery behind him, and he couldn't fall very quickly. But eventually he dies. But then Batman's like, hey, I saw you do that, even though I could have easily stopped you from shooting Lieutenant. Why isn't Batman... I don't understand this. He always observes crime and then gets involved. Not until fucking Harold gets hit over the back of the head, and not until Lieutenant Eckhart gets shot and dies. He's like, okay, now I'm going to get involved. But fucking Jack, he spots Batman out of the corner of his eye, shoots him. Batman, he's got those fucking gauntlets, chat. Boom, and they can block bullets, and the bullet bounces off Batman's gauntlet, goes right into Jack Nicholson's face, which scared me as a child, which really freaked me out. But he's like, and he fucking careens over the ledge, chat. And he's on this catwalk, careens over it, and he's like holding on the fucking dear life on this one bar. He's and we see like his cheeks are all meaty and gross now. It's like, now I have a criticism with because I really like Jack Nicholson's Joker, but I kind of don't understand why they gave him that rictus grin. Like, he's that permanent, like, smile. Because Jack Nicholson already has, like, a really cool smile just in general. I don't know why you forced that on him. But he careens over the ledge, and you see his fucking cheeks just have these big, meaty, like, gory holes in them. He's like, and Batman does go for him, but he's like, I can't lift you. You're too thick, Jack Nicholson. And we will see, chat, that Jack Nicholson is dummy thick in this movie. It's the very end. It's like, God, you got a big ass, Jack. But he can't fucking lift him. And he's like, God! He fucking lets him go. And he falls into the vat of chemicals, chat. Whoop. And that's it. And Pat Hingle and the Commissioner Gordon, the rest of the cops are like, wait, Batman, wait, you're not getting out of here too. And so they waddle up there. Batman just throws smoke bomb. He throws down a fucking smoke bomb, and he just yeets himself out of there. Che uses his back grapple. He uses the back grappling hook, and he just not quickly ascends, slowly ascends. It's like, we can still shoot him, but oh, well. And they look down the vat and are like, well, that's definitely the death of Jack Napier, but it's not, chat, because we cut outside of Axis Chemicals into Gotham Bay, and we see the white hand, chat, the ivory white hand of Jack Napier. But is he Jack Napier, chat? Or has he been reborn as a new individual? We shall soon see. After that, it's like, okay, well, that went well. That went really well. Thank you, Muslim 2 Minis. Dude is a zombie, yes. It makes no sense because it made it seem like Batman was going to let Jack go up until he killed Eckhart, which shouldn't have been the case, but now it's a him cry. It's fucking weird. It's really weird. But after that fun time, chat, we then cut to Knox. and Vicki Vale, who are talking about this thing that happened with Batman Axis Chemicals and how it was weird and how it resulted in the death of Jack Napier. And she's like, well, I mean, this story's important right now, but I'm really interested in doing this piece about Bruce Wayne, Alex. And he's like, what are you talking about? This is the biggest thing ever. The police had to admit that Batman does exist. This is getting hot now. She's like, yes, but I'm horny. And he's like, but I can help you with that. She goes, yeah, I'm gonna go and see Bruce Wayne. So fucking pathetic. Eventually, she goes to see Bruce, chat. And they're on a date, little dinner date in Wayne Manor, and it's super awkward, chat, because they're sitting at this fucking long ass table eating soup, and they can't hear each other. Where Bruce is like, "Do you like the soup?" She's like, "What?" He's like, Did you like the soup? Do you like this? Oh, you're still eating it. So did you like the soup? She goes, it's okay. Could you pass the salt? What? Can you pass the salt? Yeah, okay. And he goes over there and he's like, here's the salt. And he goes, this room kind of sucks, doesn't it? She goes, yeah, it really does. It really does kind of suck. Hey, so you want to go into the kitchen, and so Alfred can tell you embarrassing stories of my childhood. And she's like, that sounds great. And we actually get like a little interesting moment where Alfred's sitting down, and Alfred's just fucking smashed. Alfred's been drinking. He's opened up. He's helped himself to the Wayne alcohol liquor stores, chat. There's no doubt. And he's like, oh, and Bruce scraped all the skin off his ass, and he couldn't sit down right for like 6 months. We had to do skin grafts, but it was hilarious. Every time he tried to sit, he would just go, ah. I love it. Wasn't that funny, Bruce? Remember? And Bruce is like, yeah, it was very funny, Alfred. It was very funny. Yeah, he's like, yeah, well, you know what? I'm going to let you two get to know each other. I think I've thoroughly embarrassed Bruce, Master Wayne over here. You got her now, Bruce. Hook, line, and sinker. Boom! Don't be a one-pump chump. And Alfred leaves the scene. And Vicki Vale's like, he's so funny and British and stuff. And he goes, yeah, and stuff. Yeah, he's good. He's good at his job. And she goes, like, he raised you, didn't he? He's like, yeah, he's my family. He's my only family. She goes, whoa. So your dad's a butler? And he goes, no. No, she knows nothing about him. Nothing. And he's like, there's some interview. There's no fucking interview. She went there for a booty call. That's what happened, chat. I'm going to go talk to Bruce and give him an interview. No interview was had, chat. That is not what happened. No, he's not my father. He might as well be my father. He raised me. He's taking care of me. And she goes, well, you have so many things that you do in your life, huh? And he goes, yes, there's a lot of me in this house. It's a part of me, but it's also not a part of me. There's so much about me you do not know, Vicki Vale. Obvious. She's like, yeah, I know nothing about you. He goes, yeah. Do you want to have sex? She goes, hell yeah, I do. And so they waddle up. They drunkenly go up the stairs, chat. Kissing and smooching, taking off each other's clothes. They're naked by the time they get to the bedroom, and they start having the sex chat. Woo, good times. But it's like, well, after all that weird Michael Keaton, Kim Basinger sex, we then cut to an underground black market plastic surgeon, chat, who has just done... I don't know how long the period of time this has taken place after Jack Nicholson came out of the fucking Gotham Bay, but I don't know. But... the surgeon who has a German accent, he has recently performed massive facial reconstructive surgery on Jack Napier. And he's like, now we must be very careful with the bandages, Mr. Napier. We'll take one off. Two off. Jack's like, get the fuck out. And he fucking rips all the bandages off. And he's like, mirror. And the guy's like, okay, here you go. And he's like, oh, he's like, I am sorry, but my tools are quite crude. And we see all these horrific tools just covered in blood and Jack Nicholson meat. And it's like, oh my God. But then and he just goes up the stairs, breaks this fucking light as it goes up, and it makes it like really ominous and shit. It's like, okay, what? And the surgeon's like, what the fuck is happening? Like, he even looks at Jack Nicholson, he's like, oh my good. Eventually, we then cut to Carl Grissom, Chad, Jack Palance. We cut to good old Jack Palance. And he's there. He's in his he just took a fucking nice shower, Chad. He's feeling good. In a bathroom, letting the old man scrotum just hang low, Chad, hang real low. And he's like, I'm going to help myself to a nice glass of my favorite whiskey. He goes over to the table. He pours himself. Here's the elevator open up behind him. He's like, is that you, Sugar Bumps? And it's, nope, but it's someone else. And he goes, yeah, it's me, Sugar Bumps. And he goes, Jack! I can't believe it that you survived. How? He's like, oh, I died. It was quite liberating. Almost like therapy. You should try it sometime, Carl. He's like, yeah, you know. He drinks all the whiskey. He's like, I'm just gonna get another drink, okay? And he's reaching for a fucking gun, and Jack's like, nah, you don't need to do that. And he goes, your life won't be worth spit. And he's like, ooh, Carl, you should take it easy. You shouldn't talk to me that way. I wouldn't appreciate it. After everything I've done for you, and you betray me over a woman. A woman! He gets very mad about it being a woman, chat. Don't bother. That's what he says, don't bother. And he's like, Jack, come on. We can work out a deal. And, fucking Jack's like, oh, Jack is dead, my friend. You can call me Joker. And it's him in his full Joker regalia, Chad. Full Joker makeup, full purple suit and everything. And he looks great. Again, I don't think the rictus grin is necessary at all. But still, it looks really cool. And as you can see, I'm a lot happier. And this music plays, it's swell with the orchestra, as he just starts randomly shooting poor Jack Palance, poor Carl Grissom, chat. He's like, he's blasted over his fucking desk, and he's just pumped through in bullet holes, and Jack's like, oh, what a day. He loves it. He loves it. Eventually, we cut back to Bruce Wayne and Vicki Vale. They have just fucked, chat. Vicki Vale is sound asleep from all that bat fucking, as you know. But Bruce, he can't sleep. He can't sleep, chat. He's no one pump chump, but he's still got all this pent up stuff inside of him, chat. So he decides to sleep upside down because he is Batman. Where it's weird fucking scene. Like, he has this whole bar in his room, and he's literally sleeping upside down like a bat. And Vicki Vale wakes up and sees him doing this. She's like, okay. I think she just goes back to bed. It's fucking weird. It's like, this came out of nowhere. Eventually, we cut back to the office of Carl Grissom, now the office of the Joker, chat, and he's just enjoying the moment. But he looks at the paper, and it says, Batman terrorizes Gotham. Wing menace, Batman.
I'm Mr. Green Christmas.
Dark's, I think, the two biddies. He should have passed out from the blood rushing to his head. True. After that, after all that bat fucking, and after that little workout of his, he should just fucking collapsed, would have broken his neck. But Jack, he's just in the moment, Chad. He's enjoying himself, and he sees the headline: Bat terrorizes Gotham. What is the world coming to? Wait until they get a load of me. Who? And I was like, yeah, we cut. Amazing. Oh, Annie J, you've got a spazzy little brother energy. Thank you, Annie. I need it for I need it because to play the Joker, Annie. I need to do this. So we then cut, and it's the morning of, and Bruce has somehow wandered downstairs, but Vicki comes up to him, and she's like, hey, Bruce, you want to go get breakfast and stuff? And he's like, no. He does not care. He's like, I don't want to do anything with you. I've conquered you. I am done. I have no need for you and your woman organs. And she's like, haha, it's really funny. But seriously, maybe like a lunch. He goes, I'm sorry, I can't do that. I'm going on a business trip today, and I'll be gone for a few days. I got a thing I got to do. She's like, okay, when you come back. And he's like, yeah, sure. And so she's leaving. She gets all dressed up, chat. She's walking out, and Alfred, he's coming in there to, get rid of all the fuck fumes. He's like, "Oh, Miss Vale, so good to see you." And she's like, "Alfred, yay, I love you. Hello, Bruce Wayne's dad." She's like, "I'm not his dad, no." And he's like, "So, Alfred, where's Bruce going?" And she's like, "What?" And he's like, "Business trip, right?" He goes, "Oh, Master Wayne isn't leaving anywhere." And she's like, "Oh, he fucking lied to me." It's true. She lied. Or he lied. And Alfred's like, "Oh, I might have fucked this up. That's not good." Then we cut back to Jerry Hall. Elevator fucking opens to the the former estate of one Jack Palance of Carl Grissom. She walks in there, and we see that the Joker, he's got his fucking feet up on the goddamn table. He's all done up, Chad. He's wearing a nice little French beret, sipping on a martini, and he's like, "How you doing, sugar bumps?" And she's like, "Oh," she passes out. Face first into a table. He's like, "Whoops." Takes a nice little sip, chat. Eventually, he set up good old Joker chat. He has set up a meeting with the various crime bosses that used to work for Carl Grissom. And he's saying, "Welcome, boys. So good to have you all here. Just want to let you know that Carl has asked me that I take over his affairs. I know it might seem a little random, a little, different than what we're used to, but I assure you that your money is safe with me." And this one guy named Tony, Antoine's like, "What the fuck is wrong with your face?" And we cut. And so this is cool. They do have Jack Nicholson. He is wearing like a layer of makeup over his makeup. And so he can literally remove it, and the white makeup underneath still stays there. But he's basically pretending to be Jack Napier when he's talking to all these guys, even though he's very much now Joker. He's like, "I'm just happy. Life has been good to me." He goes, "All right, good for you, Jack. But listen, what if we don't want to go along with your little plan about you being in charge?" He's like, "Well, that's fine. I'll just take my hat in hand, go across the table, put my hand out there and shake it, and we can go ahead and go about our day. Put her there, Antoine." And Antoine's like, "Really?" And if I was Antoine, I'd be like, "Fuck this. I am not gonna do that." Duma, good to see him, but Antoine's dumb. He's dumb as fuck. He's like, "Okay." And he fucking takes Jack's hand. He goes, and he starts getting electrocuted to death. He's like, "Ooh," and Jack's like, "Oh, we got a live one here. Oh, what a wonderful day. Ooh, oh, God. You're a little hot on the collar there, Antoine." Until he's a fucking molten husk. Until there's nothing left, chap, but burnt hair, burnt skin, and blackened bone. And it's like, oh, it seems that Antoine has left the building, and you're all under new management. I'll give you some time to think it over, boys. And you have this one fat guy who's like, "Oh, you're crazy." He's like, "No, I'm not crazy. Now you get the hell out of here and think it over." And all these Joker henchmen come in, chap. They all fucking leave, and they kick them all out. And eventually, Bob the Goon's about to leave too, but he's like, "Bob, come over here, Bob." And he grabs Bob. He's like, "Oh, Bob, I just want to let you know, you're my number one guy." And Bob's like, "Yes, sir." Bob's really happy, Chad. He fucking puts on his sunglasses and he walks out and he goes, he's like, "Antoine, good to see you." Oh, you're talking to me right now? Oh, what do you got to say? I mean, should I let him think it over, the whole plan? No? Grease them all? Kill them all? Well, if you insist. Antoine, I really didn't like you. I'm actually kind of glad you're dead. I'm glad you're dead. He killed me. And he fucking walks out. So Bob is loyal to the bitter fucking end. All right, before there was Harley Quinn, there was Bob the Goon, chat. Bob the Goon deserved better. He deserved better. Also, he tells Joker, or also tells Bob, "Listen, I want you to tell this guy named Knox. I want every information we can get on the Batman. He seems to be the guy who knows all about it. Think you can do that for me, Bob?" Bob's like, "Yeah, sure, I'll follow him." He's like, "Nice." Eventually, we cut from that. And Knox is super sad about Vicki Vale not wanting to have sex with him. He's like, please, Vicki. She's like, no. But he's like, well, I got the file on Bruce Wayne. And for whatever reason, there is no information on Bruce Wayne. The press has nothing. How does anyone not know? How does anyone not know who he is? It's fucking weird. And she's like, this isn't enough information. This reveals nothing about his history. Did he like pay off the papers to not do any? Maybe that's it. Maybe he's paid off. Maybe he's extracted information from the GCPD and the Gotham Gazette and other publications to just have no information on him. It's fucking weird, but it's like, okay, sure, that's fine. She's like, well, I'm just going to go ahead and do this myself. I'm going to follow him, and she so happens to be following him on the day that is the anniversary of his parents' death, chat, which you don't know about yet, which she has no idea, but no one knows Bruce Wayne's parents died in Crime Alley, which is weird. But she tracks him. Even though Batman, he's a master detective and strategist and hunter and all these other things, chat cannot detect Kim Basinger, who is literally like 10 feet behind him. But he has these two roses, chat. He puts them on this piece of sidewalk, cement covered in used condoms and cigarette butts. And she goes over and picks up the flowers. She's like, what does this mean? What does this mean? While Bob the Goon is taking pictures of her and Knox and Bruce Wayne behind them the entire time. It's like one following the other. It's crazy. Eventually, we cut to City Hall, where the other mob bosses have just finished a meeting of giving all their money over to Carl Grissom's estate, or whatever, make sure that it's all being held in secret, or that for safety purposes or whatever. And the press is like, why would you give all your money away? And it's like, well, we've been assured that Carl Grissom will take care of our money and all of our businesses, and there'll be no issues whatsoever. Everyone's like, and Knox is there, he's like, hey, I'm smelling bullshit, guys. You smelling bullshit? And he's like, come on, what's the real story? And then we start to see mimes. And like Bruce Wayne is at City. There's only 25 people at City Hall, which is like about an eighth of the population of Gotham City in this movie. So it's 25 people. And then all of a sudden, mimes start showing up. And they're like, one mime is just kind of fucking with Bruce, like putting him in a box. And Michael Keaton just has this look like, this scene sucks. I hate this scene. It's so stupid. But there's like a shit ton of mimes that come out of nowhere. And then eventually, after Knox says his line, is like, I'm smelling bullshit, the Joker is there. He's like, I was there. He had his dead hand, picked up that pen, and signed the dotted line in his own blood. And he looks over at the fat man. He's like, how you doing, Fat Tony? It's your Uncle Bingo. Time to cash the check. And he throws the pen into Fat Tony's throat and kills him. It's like, whoa. And he turns around and presents himself. He's like, hello, Gotham. Joker's back in town. And then machine gun fire. They start shooting everybody. Everyone fucking ducks and covers. But Batman's looking at this guy's like, I fucking know you. And he gets shot in the fucking arm and just nothing. And eventually Joker, he walks right into, he sits down in the car, and Bruce is up in the window. He goes, and he drives away. Vicky's like, Bruce, you've been shot. He's like, it happens to me all the time. She's like, what? Never mind. I need to go. And so after that, she leaves, chap. But, you know, Joker has decided to kill all the bosses. Like, he literally just had a fucking meeting and, like, should I let them live? I'll kill them anyway. So I guess that's what the Joker does. But he goes back to Alfred. And he's like, I fucking know who this new Joker is. It's obviously fucking Jack Napier. That's what it is, Alfred. I thought he died. I thought he died at Axis Chemicals. And Alfred's like, Bruce, stop being Batman and marry Kim Basinger. He's like, but I don't want to marry Kim Basinger, Alfred. No. He's like, do it already, all right? You won't like what I'll have to do later on in the movie. You better marry her. And he's like, oh. We also cut to we cut to a news report about the whole situation and how like it's, you know, talking about Harvey Dent and the Batman situation. But also, like, they bring up Joker and how there's like this new villain in town. He's like, the situation's being handled with the Joker, and I can assure the people of Gotham City that we're also handling the Batman situation. That is our priority right now. And then boom, this fucking boxing glove comes out of nowhere and hits the TV. And then Joker's there is like, my pain has a name, and it is Batman. Bob, this town needs an brr, brr. He's fucking blowing like a kazoo or some shit. Bob's like, what's an enema? Like, he does not know what enema is. He's like, all right, what do you say, boss? Eventually, we cut from that, and Vicki goes to Knox, and she says, listen, Knox, I'm not going to have sex with you, but I really need to know this information on Crime Alley. It's somehow connected to Bruce Wayne. He left roses. What's that have to do with anything, Knox? He's like, okay, I'll look it up because I love you, Vicki. She's like, I know you do. Eventually, we cut back to Joker, and he's sitting at his little table where Bob has brought the photographs to him, and he's like, Bob, I need more photographs. I need a collage. He's like, here you go, sir. And he starts cutting all these pictures like he's a fucking child. It's fucking weird. Watch Holly, welcome to the stream. I'm currently reviewing Batman 1989, doing a scene by scene breakdown. Chat, please do check out Watch Holly. Give her some support. She was playing Sekiro. She was fighting the great white ape last night, and he was pooping and farting, and it was difficult. I hope you are indeed able to beat him. You will accomplish what I was not able to. He's a tough son of a bitch, but I bet you can do it. Chat, please do follow her. She's fantastic. Really good personality, great community. She's going places. You're going places. But we cut back to good old Jack Nicholson, who's fucking playing with glue sticks and shit, fucking arts and crafts. And Bob is presenting all the pictures to him like, this is Alexander Knox. He's like, oh, this lug is Alexander Knox, really? It's like, oh, terrible fashion, bad tie, nope. And then they get to a picture of Bruce Wayne, and Joker has no idea who Bruce Wayne is. He's like, who's this guy, Bob? That guy's name is Wayne, Bruce Wayne. Never heard of him, even. Jack Napier has lived in Gotham City his entire life. And he doesn't know who Bruce Wayne is. Okay, all right, sure. He was, we'll get to it. Luke the Boss, good 2 minutes. I like certain things this way better than the Dark Knight, but some things the Dark Knight does better. Like the mob B-plot is done way better pretty early in this. I like how it was left in long in the Dark Knight. True, I agree with you. I like how the mob stuff is definitely handled better in Dark Knight. They're greased, as the Joker would say in this movie. But eventually he lands in the picture of Vicki Vale. Kim Basinger. Like, hold the press, hold the phone. Who is this, Bob? He's like, oh, that's some broad named Vicki Vale, photographer, war photographer. He goes, oh, Bob, something about this gets me going, lights my fire. Love makes a man a mookie. What does that mean? Again, Tim Burton just said, Jack, do it. He let Jack improvise so many of his lines and scenes in this film. And he let him do whatever he did. And the actor who plays Bob the Goon just has to kind of stand there and let Jack Nicholson do his thing. He's like, Bob, we're going to set up a little interview with Kim Basinger here. Prepare the stuff, Bob. He's like, right away, sir. And then Jack Nicholson just starts fucking dancing. Dancing around the factory, chat, as he's just kissing and jerking to a picture of Kim Basinger. Eventually, we cut to this factory where this evil German scientist is preparing all these chemicals, and Joker appears above on the catwalk. Are they all ready, Doc? And he's like, yes, they are all ready to be shipped. 10,000 bots. He's like, fantastic, ship them all. And it's like, okay, I know what that's about. But then we cut to a news report, chat. We got these two news anchors. They're talking about these sudden murders these sudden deaths that have sprung up across Gotham. They seemingly unrelated, but most of them have been women. And the one female news reporter, she starts like, it's like something's wrong with her face. She's like, has like these tics or something. She's like, and then she goes, as the guy's talking about the deaths of all these women. And they're like, what the hell was that? And he's like, anyway, well, the 3 women are survived by... He's like, Barbara, you shouldn't be laughing at that. And she's like, and she fucking falls back. And they go, whoa, what's going on? And then we cut. Like the whole news station, every channel is taken over by the Joker, and he's talking about Smilex, Joker products. You are all probably wondering about my latest feature, my latest household product that's in hot demand right now. Well, let me tell you about it. See, you're used to Brand X. That's what this dead cadaver of a man had recently. But what you want is Smilex. And we cut to this one dead guy who has this rictus grin going,
like that. He's like, no. What you all want is the kind of product that will put a smile on your face. All natural ingredients. I mean, look at these ladies. We see these two women, these cardboard cutouts are going, love that Joker. Those ruby lips, that green hair, oh, that all natural white skin. And you're probably asking yourselves, how can I buy these products? Well, chances are you already own them. And we cut to the female reporter, and she's fucking dead. She has that Richter's grin, and she's like, it killed her. And so it's like, holy shit. He goes, Brand X. It's horrifying, Chad. It's horrifying. It's super creepy. He kills. Joker's body count in this film is astronomical. He kills hundreds of people in this city, Chad. Even more than like Heath Ledger's Joker. It's fucking nuts. And Batman, Bruce, he's watching this commercial and he's like, he can't fucking believe this. Like, it's like he's taking over. It's like he's got to find the connection to these products. Eventually, Alfred comes over with a file on Jack Napier because he's figuring out, okay, Joker is obviously Jack Napier. He starts reading Jack Napier's history. How he once the first time he was in prison when he was 15 years old, assault with a deadly weapon. He's a psychopath, no doubt about it, but he's also extremely intelligent, and he has an aptitude for science, chemistry, and art. And he's like, chemistry. Alfred, we're going shopping. And it's like, okay, sure. Eventually, we cut from that, and we see the news reports are all back, and it shows the reporters are all like covered in acne and are all fucking gross because they haven't been able to use any household products. No deodorant, no soap, no mouthwash, toothpaste, like all these typical toiletries shit, they can't be used because they might be poisoned. And it's been like 3 weeks and we all stink and we all look gross. And there's no connection. We don't know what Smilex is in. I don't know how the fucking Joker managed to put Smilex in every fucking product in Gotham City. But wow, he did it well. Harvey Dent, he looks gross. They made even Billy Dee Williams gross looking, Chad. He's super sweaty now. And he's calling. He's like, I don't know what to fucking do. Oh, Batman, help me. And Batman, he's going to help, Jay. He's going to help. Don't you worry. But before we get to that, Vicki Vale, she's just leaving her apartment, but she calls Wayne Manor because she says, Alfred, and because Alfred picks up the phone, he goes, yes, Miss Vale, could you just let Bruce know that I'm going to be a little late for our date at the museum today, the Museum and Restaurant of Art. It's very weird. It's a museum and restaurant. Okay. And he's like, right away, Miss Vale. And hangs up the phone. And Alfred goes to Bruce. He's like, hey, Bruce, I'm proud of you that you're going to go on a date with Vicki Vale. But she just called and she said that she's going to be a little late. And he's like, oh, no problem. Wait a minute. I'm not seeing her tonight. And then we cut Vicki Vale. Oh, no, actually, no, we cut to Joker, and he's getting all dolled up. Chad, he's putting the skin color makeup on his face. And then Jerry Hall waddles over, and she's like, are we going to paint the pictures, Jack? And he goes, right away. It's like, why does Jerry Hall suddenly sound like Roz from Monsters, Inc.? Oh, you shall soon learn why, chat. But she's like, all like, now. She sounds like Lieutenant Eckhart. She's more Lieutenant Eckhart than Jerry Hall at this point, chat. Eventually, we then cut to Vicki Vale. She arrives at the museum, and she's led to her table. She's like, hey, table for two, Bruce Wayne. He goes, yes, Bruce Wayne has not arrived yet, miss, but I assure you he shall be there soon. And so sits her down, and she's there for who knows how long. She's drinking fucking water and stuff. I would have ordered a fucking bottle of wine or champagne, but clearly she's been there for a while. Eventually, this waiter comes over and is like, this just arrived for you, man. It's like this little present. And she's like, that's weird. She opens it up, and she sees that it's a gas mask. It's like, what? It's like this orange-green gas mask. There's a little card written in crayon, and it says, put this on. She turns the card around right now, and we see all of this purple Joker gas start to be pumped into the museum, and it kills everybody. It doesn't knock them out. It kills like dozens and dozens of people. We see these waiters falling over, stabbing themselves with forks and knives. All these like,
guests, all these people that came to the patrons that went to the restaurant / museum, all going face first into their, spaghetti and their carrot cake chat, all dead. And she's like, just panicking. And it's death. It's that we see all the dead bodies in various rictus poses, like, we cut to the museum, the fucking doors opens, and he's like, and then we see, chat, it's the Joker complete with his fucking posse, chat. And he's like, boys, let's broaden our minds, Lawrence. And we get the Joker dance number, and it's like, this is so unnecessary in the movie, but it's so much fucking fun to watch. Jack Nicholson and all these other actors are having a blast. And so they're going around this museum and defacing all of this art, all of this architecture, these paintings and shit. And I think this is the first time we hear one of Prince's songs in the movie. I think the next time is at the end of the film, Trust, when we hear that during the parade scene. And this is the only other time. But I'm sorry, it puts a fucking smile on my face just seeing Jack Nicholson like knock over that statue and just skipping around. He goes over to this one painting and gets this huge fucking paintbrush, puts in the purple paint and says, Joker was here. And the rest of these guys are like, one guy has a sculpture, he's putting green paint on it and gives the red lips. I'm sorry, but you can cut this out, but it's so party man, that's what it is, party man, and so fucking fun. And I'm sorry, I can't help but smile. I can't help but smile at this scene. It's whimsical, and there's like eventually they're going up the stairs and they're facing more portraits. And Jack Nicholson, he improvised a lot of his dialogue in this scene where he points to this one scene, one picture of George Washington. He's like, "Guys on the $1 bill," and they deface that and they get to this one disgusting looking picture. But he throws up his cane before Bob can machete it. And he goes, "Bob, I kind of like this one. You can leave it alone." It's like this horrifying thing of this guy screaming as he's like two chunks of like thigh meat are like right next to his face. It's crazy. But he kind of comes over where not Jerry Hall, but Kim Basinger like the whole time. And he fucking sits down and she's like, who are you? He's like, "Oh, you happen to know who I am. You're the apple of my eye, Kim." And he's like, "Do be kind, watch out." He takes out this lighter because they're going to like, "Oh, candlelit dinner." And it's a fucking flamethrower and it shoots out this jet of flame. And he's like, "Listen, you and I were the same thing. We're both artists, and I want to see your work. Is this your work right here?" She goes, yeah, go ahead and look at it. He goes, "Oh, wonderful. Thank you so much." He's like, crap. Just say all over his crap until he finally gets the pictures of Corto Maltese. He's like, "Oh, now this is art. The bodies, the skulls. It's so exciting." She's like, "You like violence." He's like, "I can't help it. I can't help who I am. I'm an artist. I consider myself the first functioning homicidal artist." And she's like, what? And he's like, "Here, let me show you one of my pieces. A sketch, if you will. Come here, dear. Come here. And Jerry Hall comes over. She has this mask. He's like, "Jack, I thought I was going to come here and watch you improve all the paintings." And he's like, "I'm in trouble now." And she's like, why is she wearing a mask? He goes, "Oh, just a sketch, really. I mean, not my best work. But now, like everything you see here, she is a modern piece of art." She takes off her fucking mask. She's all gross now. And she's like, "Jesus. Holy fucking shit." And he's like, what's wrong with you?" He's like, I know I'm no Picasso, but I am trying." Oh, at one point, she also has a great line where she's like, "Okay, what do you want? What all you're doing here in Gotham, what is that you want, Joker?" And he's like, "My face on the $1 bill." And she's like, "You must be joking." And she can't say that line to save her life. And he's like, "Does it look like I'm joking?" I mean, kind of. That's that fucking grin. But he stands up. And he's like, "I mean, I know I'm no Picasso, but I am trying." She says, "Listen, I just want to go. I just want to go, okay? You're insane." He goes, "I thought I'm a Pisces. Come on," which I love that line. He's like, here, I'm a good guy. Have a sniff of my posy." And he squirts acid in her face, and she just dodges at the last second. She's like, "Oh!" And she grabs this big old, like, basin of water, and she just throws it at the Joker's face. He's like, "Oh, I'm melting, no.
wrong. And she, for whatever reason, she starts to comfort him. And I don't know why. I'd be like, if I would fucking yeet myself over the balcony and run to the exit. And she's like, oh, I'm so sorry I threw water in your face. It's so weird. But he turns around and goes, boo. And we see like his skin makeup is all running down, but the white's underneath. And then we get the fucking awesome scene of Batman crashing through the skylight, and then the ba-da-da-da-da, it's like the first confrontation, the true confrontation, chat, between Batman and the Joker, and Batman decides to run away. And he puts out this, like, looks like he's gonna shoot the Joker right in the face. Joker's like, whoa. And it's a grappling hook though, chat. Shoots from one end, shoots the other, and Batman's like, hang on. And they go all the way down towards the exit, chat. Throws a fucking smoke bomb, and he gets himself out of there. And Joker's just standing up there in the balcony. Where does he get those wonderful toys? And then Kim Basher's like, where the fuck are we going? Where are we going? He's like, don't worry, my ride's here. The Batmobile. We see the Batmobile, chat, for the first time. Great design, beautiful. It looks like a big giant penis. And they get inside the big bat penis chat. Well, the rest of Joker's thugs chase after him at this point, shooting him and everything. He's running some of them across the road. He has this grappling. I mean, we pass by Monarch Theater like 15 times in this scene because it's literally just Gotham is only like 3 streets, I want to say. And it's all like in a square. I guess it's 4 streets, but it's all a square. It's just going around a fucking circle. He shoots out this grappling hook to be able to make these like really sharp turns. And eventually, like, you know, some of the Joker cars, they crash and stuff. But he's like, we're not going to be able to escape them, okay? I got to make sure to get you to safety. So he pulls off to the side of the road. And he's like, car, you know, security mode. And the car becomes like a giant armored peen. And people are like, whoa, that looks fucking cool and sexy. And Batman, like, I love, again, Michael Keaton is really good in this role. But do not have this man run because he runs like this. I can't move my body. He runs very awkwardly down Crime Alley with Vicki Vale, and he asks her, how much do you weigh? Which is not a very polite thing to say to a woman. And she's like, I don't know, like 105 pounds. It's like, Jesus, how are you walking? Someone give Kim Basinger a sandwich, chat. She needs a sandwich. And Batman's like, perfect, you're not a fatty. So he grabs her, and he's like, hang on to this. And they go up in the air. They use this grappling hook. But they stop. And he's like, you lied to me. You're a fat person. And he's like, here, grab onto this. And then she just shoots all the way up there because he drops. She drops, and the Joker thugs, they arrive, and we get fucking crazy scenes here. And it's a combination of certain things just not working, where Michael Keaton does not know how to fight, which is obvious, and it's not shot very well. But you have all these crazy, I don't know where Joker recruited these people, but they're doing all these crazy flippy jumps and stuff. We have this one guy who's a kung fu fighter coming at Batman. And Batman, he just fucking puts him on the goddamn ground. He's fighting all these guys. Meanwhile, Vicki Vale, she's watching this fight from up top, trying to take pictures and things. Eventually, these thugs come up on Batman like a Bob the Goon, and they just fucking shoot him. They did the same what they probably should have done. They shoot him, for whatever reason, right in the chest, not in the face, but he's down on the ground. And, you know, they're like, oh, look at that. He is real. I can't believe it. But he's a man. Look at that. It's just some kind of body. It's fucking rubber. It's some kind of Kevlar body armor. And Bob is really smart. Bob is like, let's see who he is. Like, you got to give Bob some credit. Like, Bob the Goon is like one of those, you know, those henchmen, villains, like number 2 villains lost to history. But he's actually pretty fucking competent in this movie. And so he's like, let's see who he is and then kill him. And it's like, all right, that's good. And so they take off his mask, and that's when Vicki Vale snaps a picture. Now, you don't notice, you're like, oh, they didn't get the mask off. You actually do. When you watch the movie again, chat, in the very bottom left-hand corner, you see that the mask on his face is completely off. And then he puts it back down like super fast. And so she does take that picture. A lot of people miss that deal, the bat ear wobble, I know, because it's all rubber and shit. And you actually see for the first time for whatever reason, there's a famous shot in Returns, which is so goofy, where he doesn't, like, Batman clearly wears eye makeup right here. He needs it because, you know, to make the look all ominous, because it looks awkward without it. And for whatever reason, filmmakers are like, Batman can't wear that eye makeup. Like Robert Pattinson, they showed him with that, which I think is cool. Here, that's also gone in this scene, but it's not. It's kind of a little awkward, but it's definitely not there.
He puts the mask back on. He beats the shit out of the guys at this point, and he yeets himself up to Kim Basinger. And he's like, you're a fatty. You said you were 105 pounds. It's like, God, she's like, I'm sorry. I had a slice of cake when I was at the museum/restaurant. And he's like, all right, well, you're coming with me. And so they get back in the Batmobile. Oh, it's cool, too, because it's remote controlled in response to his voice. And he's like, come here, Batmobile. And the Batmobile rolls up and it stops. He's like, stop. And right before it hits him, like it would have just fucking taken out his kneecaps, chat, stops right in front of him. It's like, oh, that's so fucking cool. Eventually, they get into the Batmobile. We get this really, just the score here. It's so ominous. But I love it as they're going through, I guess, the Gotham woods, the forest or whatever, to, the Batcave, Wayne Manor, basically. And, like, Kim Basinger's, like, freaking the fuck out. But she's looking at Batman. She's like, you kind of look like Bruce Wayne. He's like, no, I don't. And he turns the light on. And she's like, oh, light. It's so bright and stuff. And she looks ahead. Ooh, look at the activities. Oh, yeah. I never even registered how weird that was. It was a place to eat. And it was a place to eat and a museum. I'm like, what is this place? And there's all these, well-known pieces of art. It's very odd. But she turns her head, and it looks like they're heading right into the side of a fucking, rock or something, like a mountain. She's like, oh, and then boom, and then it goes right through, and she looks behind her, and it was like a door. It was a secret door. And she's like, holy fucking shit. And they finally get into the Batcave, and I have to admit, I really love the Batcave design. Doesn't make any fucking sense. Like, for whatever reason, you have these super high ledges that you can only get up to by ladder, and there's like a computer up there for some reason. And then other things where it's like super flat. It's just bizarre. The layout makes no sense to me. But she's like, is this where you live? Is this where the bats are? He's like, bats are amazing survivors. And she's like, okay. And he's like, listen, I need you to get this to the press and the police. It has all the information on Smilex. He actually does some detective work. I will say, this is the one point in the movie. Actually, he also finds out that, fucking Joker is also the person who killed my parents. Spoiler. But he also puts it together that if you put these certain products in combination with each other, that's what activates Smilex and kills you. So he's like, get this out to the press because I've done all these experiments. Also, fucking Joker is definitely probably Jack Napier. So be careful about that. She's like, how can you prove all that? He's like, I'll have all the evidence soon. But get this to all the press right now in regards to Smilex. The people of Gotham need to be saved, okay? All right? I'll take care of the rest. And she's like, there's more to this, though. You want something else, don't you? And then we get like a really weird, creepy fucking scene. He's like, yes, there is something that I want. And he just throws up his cape and covers her completely. He's like, are you going to like molest her, Batman? And then we cut. I think he roofied her, Chad. He fucking roofied her because we cut and she's back in her apartment on the side of the bed, just like, what did you do, Bruce? What did you do? And she gets a call from Knox. She's like, where you been? It's been 3 fucking days. I've been trying to get a hold of you. We're going to print. And she's like, listen, I have Smilex stuff, deodorant. And he's like, all right, we'll bring it down here. And she's like, oh, the camera. And she goes in there and all the fucking film is gone, Shan. She's like, fuck, he took the film. He took the film. Now I don't know who he is. Don't worry, Alfred will change that. He's on the case. He's on the case, Chad. Eventually, we cut to the press. The press is like, thanks to the help and the vigilance of the Batman, he has discovered that these particular Joker products activate Smilex. And so they're all being taken off the store shelves and they'll be replaced with safe products. And Joker's like, fuck, he's so mad. He shoots the TV and he's like, there is a name to my pain and it is Batman. I can't wait to sink my claws into that motherfucker. And he's like, Bob, we're gonna go see Vicki Vale in a bit. I'm horny. He's like, right away, sir. Okay. You frisk her, apparently so. Eventually, Bruce, he's at Wayne Manor, and Alfred's like, have you married Vicki Vale yet? And he goes, I haven't, Alfred, no. And he's like, listen, you should go and talk to her. I know that you like her and stuff, all right? She's lasted longer than any of the other women. You should tell her you're Batman. That's a good idea. And he's like, you know what, Alfred? I'll do just that. I'm going to go tell her about me being Batman. Cool. And so, Bruce, this scene was added into the movie at the request of Michael Keaton because he wanted to have a scene with dialogue, with Nicholson, with dialogue where he wasn't in the Batman outfit. Where they're having a back and forth and talking to each other, chat. And it is just one of the weirdest scenes in the movie. It's like, okay, and a lot of improv coming from Keaton and Nicholson, and you can tell because of some of the things they say to each other. It comes out of fucking nowhere. But he arrives, and he's like, Vicki, I just wanted to talk to you. He's like, why do you want to talk to me? You abandoned me. I got kidnapped by the Joker, and then I got kidnapped by Batman, and he stole my film, and I'm very confused about those situations. She's like, I know, I'm sorry for lying. It's just there's a lot to me. There are like two sides to me. And she goes, oh my God, you're married. He goes, I'm not married, Jesus. No, Alfred's not your dad. Alfred, well, yes, you got that right. It's true. Yeah, your research is going well, Vicki, but there's more to it. There is absolutely more to it, okay? And she's like, okay, well, just tell me. He goes, the thing is, well, what I do is that I'm the, and she's like, what? But then the fucking doorbell starts ringing, and he's like, maybe you should get that. And she goes, okay, I'll be right back. And he's like, I'm Batman. Just tell her you're Batman. Just say you are the Batman. She goes to the fucking door, opens it up, and it's Joker. And he's like, hello, Vicki. Long time no see. I was a little upset that we kept getting interrupted. And she's like, please leave me alone. And fucking Michael Keaton, he sees this. He goes, I'm going to be really weird and awkward in this scene. And he walks out, and Joker is like, oh, what's this? Another rooster in the henhouse? Who are you? He's like, Bruce Wayne. Oh, you're Bruce Wayne. Oh, the Bruce Wayne. You know, I just learned about you. He's like, yeah, no one knows who I am. Yeah, it's weird. And Bruce is like, hey, listen, I just wanted to let you know a few things. Joker, is it? He goes, yeah, that's my name. He's like, I know who you are. And Joker's like, holy shit, you know I'm Jack Napier. I've done a pretty bad job of covering it, but all these fucking dummies haven't guessed it yet. And he goes, also want to tell you about this kid I know, Jack. He's a bad seed, bad egg, committed a few crimes, done jail time. Not great. Not great. And Jack's like, I like him already. And eventually, Michael Keaton wanted to see. The thing is, though, you shouldn't cross those kind of people, Jack. You never know when they might go nuts. Come on. You want to get nuts? Come on. Let's get nuts. He's like grabs a fucking, for whatever reason, like a fire poker, slams this mirror, and just loses his mind. And Jack Nicholson, you could actually see Jack Nicholson go, whoa. Like, what is happening? What is happening? Everyone's like, what? He's like, Jack's like, up. All right, boys. All right, here you go. He's like, I'm going to ask you a question, my friend. Ever danced the devil in the pale moonlight? And Michael Keaton goes, what? Jack's like, I don't really know what it means. It's something I say to all my prey. Boom! And he shoots him. And it's like, this dialogue, I don't know what's happening. Even Kim Bassider's like, I don't know what's going on. She's just crying in the corner. But Bruce Wayne is seemingly fucking dead, chat. And Jack, he goes down on, not sexually, on Kim Basinger, grabs her. Darkseid, think of the music, so that's where it came from. Yeah, you want to get nuts? Come on. Let's get nuts. It's Michael Keaton just loses his mind. None of this dialogue makes any fucking sense at all. But, you know, Joker's upset that their meetings kept getting interrupted. And he's just like, boys, I'm going to need a minute alone. It's like, I just want to let you know that I'm smiling on the outside. But inside, I'm a sad clown. Oh, and he fucking farts and he leaves. It's like, okay. And she sees that the Joker left her. Oh, she turns around. Bruce is just gone. He just got up and left. And she noticed that he used her serving tray, this metal serving tray, to then, oh, that's right, he says that line. When he goes over to Bruce Wayne, I forgot about that famous line. When he goes over to Bruce Wayne, he leans over him. He's like, never rub another man's rhubarb. And it's like, don't jerk another guy off. Okay. And so that's when he does the whole thing with Vicki. But Vicki, she goes over to the present, he used the serving tray to save himself, and the bullet's still lodged in there. And he just fucking left. Okay. Eventually, she goes and opens Joker's present where a mannequin hand shoots out with a bouquet of dead roses, and she faints and fucking hits her head on the ground. and just knocks herself out. Later, chat. Oh, thank you, Boston 2 Minutes. Have you ever danced the devil in the pale moonlight? Michael Keaton, what the fuck are you talking about, Jack? Both of them. I think Jack's like, oh, you think you're going to confuse me? I'm going to confuse you even more. And it's like this famous quote that's been with the movie and attached to Batman forever. Forever. It's nuts. After that, we cut to Vicki. She goes back to the Gotham Gazette, where Knox has finally uncovered a story about Bruce Wayne. Apparently, 20 years ago, Bruce's parents were horrifically murdered in Crime Alley, and they see these pictures of like a Bruce Wayne who's like, oh, kid's gonna be a bad seed. He's got this 1,000-yard stare, and Vicky's like, oh my God, his dad's not Alfred. I had no idea. And Knox is like, yeah, that is indeed the case. Yes. Eventually, we then cut back to Bruce. We cut back to Bruce, and, Bruce is like, I'm getting prepared for my final battle with the Joker, chat. I don't know, or when he's about to strike Alfred. What am I to do? And Alfred's like, Bruce, I'm going to tell you this one time. Fuck it. End all of this, okay? Just be happy, all right? There's only one Wayne left, okay? I've had to bury many members of your family. I don't want to have to bury you too, okay? Marry Kim Basinger. He's like, I don't want to marry Kim Basinger. He's like, you got to do it, okay? Or I will do something the fans will never forgive me for. He's like, cool. Eventually, Alfred leaves the Batcave. And we see there's a new announcement, apparently. Because of all the Joker's crimes, the mayor gets out there of Harvey Dent, and the mayor is announcing that we are canceling the 200th anniversary parade for Gotham City because we don't know what's going to happen. We can't protect all of you because we're really bad at our jobs. And fucking Jack Napier takes over the TV screens. He's like, how you doing, everyone? Joker here. And as you can tell, I'm actually Jack Napier. Now, I want to be honest with you. I've been called a lot of things, and some of them happen to be true. However, I'm not a killer. I'm anything but that. But Batman, now that's a guy you can't trust. Here's the thing, everybody. We're going to go ahead and have this parade. It's going to be incredible. I am one who loves a good party. So come down, enjoy yourselves, and you might get a little treat. I'm prepared to release $20 million on the streets of Gotham City. Everyone's like, holy shit, the Joker is totally gonna throw out free money. That sounds amazing. I can't wait to go down there. Everyone's excited about the parade, chat. Because the voice is weirdly soothing. Thank you. He has a weirdly soothing voice. And he's like, as you guys can all see, I'm being very honest with you. I've taken off my mask. Batman, can you take off yours? And then Batman's looking at the screen and he pauses it and he goes, that's the fucking guy that killed my parents. And we have a flashback. We have a flashback, chat. And we see a young, baby-faced Bruce Wayne walking out of the theater with his parents. Just saw The Mask of Zorro, loved it. He loves Antonio Banderas. Loves that Antonio Banderas, chat. And they're walking out of the theater. He's stuffing his chubby cheeks of popcorn, chat. But they're being pursued by two gentlemen. Behind them, two gentlemen in overcoats. Eventually, they stop, and for whatever reason, Bruce's dad's like, let's cut through Crime Alley. That seems safe, but they're stopped by one thug who starts grabbing at the pearls of Martha Wayne, chat, and good old Thomas Wayne. He's fighting this guy, but this one guy comes up behind Bruce, shoots Thomas Wayne right between the eyes, comes into the mom, boom! All the pearls suddenly burst into the air and fall down into the sewer, chat, the water and everything. And even the guy who's with, I forget who the guy's with, who was with Jack. It's like, what the fuck, man? Why'd you shoot him? Oh my God. And then we see little chubby-cheeked, doe-eyed Bruce Wayne still stuffing his face of popcorn, and he sees the barrel of a gun in his face. And what does he hear? Hey, kid, ever dance with the devil in the pale moonlight? And we see a guy who is trying to be Jack Nicholson, who looks nothing like him. He filled out in his older years, Shed. He filled out. He enjoyed the vices of his profession, chat. women, booze, and food. And then eventually the guy's like, Jack, we gotta get out of here, come on. And he's like, see you later, kid. And he fucking takes off, and Bruce is like, oh, God, oh, no. He's so sad. Then we cut, and he's thinking about this, and it's like, holy fucking shit, fucking Jack Napier's Joker, and he's the guy that killed him. Now, this is a big controversial thing where the Joker is responsible for the death of Batman's parents, because, there's a huge fucking age gap between Michael Keaton and Jack Nicholson's Joker. But, the movie's like, it's unnecessary, but it's like, all right. And like there's like scenes missing in this film, because later on, Joker seemingly knows that Bruce Wayne is Batman. And it's like, there was never a scene that confirmed that. And it's very odd to me. This is when the movie starts like, okay, there's plot holes everywhere now. But he comes out of his flashback because Alfred's like, hey, I brought Vicki Vale down to the Batcave for some reason because I want you to marry her and make babies. And Bruce is like, Alfred, what the fuck? And this was like a huge controversial thing when the movie came out. Like, Alfred would allow this to happen. It would be bullshit. He's like, Alfred, now I have to kill her because I can't kill you. I need you. But if you do this again, you're just no doubt in my mind. He killed Alfred after this. He's like, I got to kill you now, Alfred. You have dementia. You don't know what you're doing anymore. You need to leave. I need to get rid of you. But she's like, holy shit, you're Batman. And it's like, this is what you were talking about in the apartment when we had that really awkward scene with Jack Nicholson. He goes, yeah, was my line cool? The want to get nuts line? Yeah, no. Fans are going to be making fun of that for years. Fuck. He's like, listen, I really love you and I want to have babies with you, but I got to defeat the Joker, okay? We need to do this, all right? She's like, but that doesn't need to be you. But no one else can stand up to injustice. Only justice. And I am Batman. And she's like, okay, are we going to the third act now? We're going to the third act. Then we cut. And we get a hell of a fucking parade, chat. Trust. And we get the Prince Parade where the Joker has somehow managed to commission the creation of multiple floats and also balloons. And he also has all of Prince. He's a big Prince fan because he's constantly playing Prince music, chat. And he's got fucking Prince's Trust playing, and he's losing his mind as everyone in Gotham, all 250 people that reside in Gotham City, have shown up for this parade. And he's just throwing away millions of dollars. But there's something about it, like trust. And he's like doing all these dance moves, and it's not in sync to the song, whatever, because clearly when they did this scene, they use different music because he's suddenly like doing all these like it's nuts. I love it though. I love it. Eventually, Knox and Vicki Vale, they arrive in the scene. And they start taking pictures of Gotham's greed, as Knox would call it. Bilbo, thinking of the 25 years, that parade was the shit. It was amazing. Much like the museum dance number. There's so many questions, like, how did this happen? Where's the police? But you're like, whatever. But everyone's just grabbing all this free money. Eventually, the Prince song ends. He's like, money, money, money. Who do you trust? Me? I'm giving away free money. And where is the Batman? He's at home, washing his tights. But then we see overhead, and he spots, the Batwing. Woo, boys, let's get ready. And at one point, we cut back to Vicki Vale and Knox, and she continues to take these pictures, and she sees these giant gas canisters on the balloons, and she's like, oh my God, they're filled with Joker toxin. He's gonna kill everybody. Knox is like, oh, jeez. We then cut back to Joker, who is like, and now, everyone, comes the part of the evening where I relieve you, the pathetic people of Gotham, your pathetic, useless lives. But, as my plastic surgeon used to say, if you gotta go with a smile. And he activates the balloon shed, and he starts gassing and murdering all these people, choking on their own greed. And Knox is like, I'm gonna be a hero. And he's like, Vicky, get in the car. I'm going to take my little COVID mask and I'm going to go over there and start just hitting all the Joker thugs so the balloons can then float up out of Gotham City. And he fucking does his best shit. He hits a few of them, but eventually the Joker thugs chase after him. He lands back on the car and Vicki drives it and she fucking smashes him against a brick wall. He's not dead, but he's going to be a little derpy for the rest of the movie, Chad. She's like, oh, Knox, you're so heroic. Eventually we cut to Batman. He's in the Batwing, Chad. He's flying around, and he manages to open. It's weird. The front of the Batwing has this giant pair of scissors, and he grabs all the balloons and cuts them and takes them above Gotham City. And the Joker is just like, he stole my balloons. Like he's like the saddest he sounds in the movie. He stole my balloons. Those are my balloons. Oh, I forgot one other scene, chat. So when Jack Nicholson goes to visit Vicki Vale, I forgot about this because it involves Jerry Hall, and she's very forgettable in the film. You're like, oh, yeah, Jerry Hall. At one point, he's like, oh, yeah, I forgot to mention that. Sadly, good old the Jerster, Jerry, if you will, she took a header off of the 50th floor of my apartment. And she's like, oh, my God, why would she do that? And he's like, I don't know, probably because I threw her off. He killed her too, chap. But he's not concerned about Jerry Hall. He's very concerned about his balloons. As he's like, those are my balloons. As Batman, he manages to cut them. They float all the way above Gotham City, making the toxin useless, Chad. He's just going to kill a whole bunch of birds. There's going to be a lot of weird birds that'll occasionally be laughing for the next few years, Chad. Probably affected the flora and fauna of Gotham City for several decades, Chad. But the citizens of Gotham are still alive, at least for now. Mango on the biddies. Release the balloons for ocean creatures to choke on them. Nice, good job saved the day. It's true. There's no doubt they eventually went into some waterway or something. There's still going to be irreparable damage. There's no doubt. And eventually Joker, he's walking. He's like in shock. Like he walks down, like his men form like a staircase for him. And he walks down. He's like, he stole my balloons. Why didn't someone tell me he had one of those things? There's like a pause things. And he's like, Bob Gunn. And Bob the Goon, ever the loyal Goon, provides his boss with the gun. Joker cocks it. Boom. And he shoots poor Bob the Goon, chat. I'm gonna need a minute alone, boys. Max, you're in charge. It's like Bob deserved better, chat. Before there was Harley Quinn, there was Bob the goddamn Goon, chat. Goddamn sad state of affairs. Oh, Lord. Eventually, he starts walking. He just starts walking down the street, and Batman is like, I'm going to kill you. He's lining up his fucking shot. He's activating all of his missiles, all of his fucking machine guns right on Joker. And Joker's just standing there. It's like, come on, you gothic son of a bitch. Come on, hit me. You're like, oh, I see what Christopher Nolan was referencing with this scene. And Batman is not a good shot. Not a good shot, Jack, because he is literally shooting everything he has at Jack Nicholson. And Jack Nicholson's just fucking T-posing, and everything misses. And then he takes out this huge revolver with this giant barrel and goes, boom! And he shoots it. And it brings down the Batwing. It crashes. And this is the data chuck. It's all dealt with miniatures. But then Batman's like, oh. He watches as the thing crashes. And it crashes right next to the giant fucking cathedral in Gotham City that we didn't see before. It's like, what the hell is that? That crashes. Vicki Vale, she's abandoned Knox. She runs over, tries to find Batman in the debris, but then the Joker grabs her. He's like, Miss Vale, won't you join me for this wonderful starlit night? And they go inside the church. Meanwhile, Batman unburies himself from all the debris of the Batwing. By this point, Joker and Vicki Vale, they're going up the staircase to the cathedral, chat, and he's like, oh, Tim Burton must have been going, during this entire sequence. It's his thing, chat. Batman's a little fucking derpy at this point. He doesn't really know how to walk anymore, and he falls over some pews, and they all fall over, and Joker hears this. He's like, looks like a friend might be joining us, Miss Vale. Please continue to ascend. Batman gets up there, and he's like, you can see Michael Keaton at this point is struggling so much in the costume. He's like, because he has to look up now constantly to see where Joker and Vicki Vale are. He's going, he's like using the railings. Oh my God. Eventually, Joker Oh yeah, that's when certain things start to fall off Vicki Vale. Like she has high heels on, because of course she does, and she trips, and the Joker grabs the high heel. He goes, he just sniffs it like a fucking creep, and he kisses it, and eventually he throws it down, and it lands near Batman. He sees the shoe, and he runs a little faster. He then takes off. Joker takes off a part of Vicki Vale's like gown and leaves it there for Batman. Eventually they get up to the bell tower, and he's like, I'm just gonna go ahead and send a little welcoming party to Batman. And he takes his acid posy, and squirts acid into the nuts and bolts of the bell, and when he turns around, it goes boom, it falls down, nearly hits Batman, but he's like, oh shit, fuck. And it misses him, crashes down there, and that's when Hingle, Commissioner Gordon's back in the movie, and the GCPD arrive, and they're like, come on, boys, let's push it. And Commissioner Gordon just goes, all right, forget it. Let's go with the searchlights outside and just point them up there, see what happens. Eventually, Batman gets up there. He's fucking exhausted. He's like, fucking God, oh God. But he's up there, and we hear Joker going, I think there's a bat in my belfry. And then we get, again, another just insane, only in the mind of Tim Burton scene. But at the same time, it's very Joker, where Joker is again playing music while dancing with Vicki Vale as all of Joker's henchmen, who somehow also are in the clock tower. Like, how did those guys get up in the bell tower? When did they get there? Were they already there? Like, we have no idea how these guys, like, there was no one with Joker. There was no one in front of Batman or behind him. How did any of these thugs it doesn't matter, because then, as Joker's just fucking dancing around, Batman has to fight all of these henchmen. There's crazy. We have this one guy who has swords on his legs that shoot out, and he yeets himself at Batman. And Batman has this is just like, okay, it's like Superman 2. It's like, why does he have a cellophane X that he threw at someone, and it momentarily stopped like Zod? It's like, what? Batman has this plastic contraption that shoots out of his wrist, and it goes up like it's a bike pedal, and it stops the guy from reaching. It's like weird. I was like, okay. He stops that guy. We see Lawrence from earlier in the museum. Lawrence, he jumps at Batman, but he's a heavyset guy. He goes right through the fucking floor, and he dies. But then Joker's like, okay, I've lost most of my thugs. I now must unleash my Kung Fu Black Man. And I will say, Chad, the Kung Fu Black Man gives Batman a run for his fucking money. He does a really good, he gets them toys. I don't know. The Kung Fu Black Man kicks Batman's ass for a good portion of the fight, where he literally throws Batman through some wooden stairs, and Batman's like, holy shit. And the guys are good. He's good when it comes to the fisticuff shit. He lays a few good ones on Batman. Batman trips. He falls through the little slot where the bell is, like hanging. And the guy looks down. He pushes the bell, so he looks down. But the Kung Fu Black Man did not expect, chat, was Batman's thick thighs. Had he watched the animated series, he would have known that Batman has defeated many a criminal with thick thighs. I've told you about this shit. I've told you about this. And so Batman literally lifts up his thighs, traps the head of the black man, the Kung Fu Black Man behind them, slams his head into the bell, and throws him over and kills him. Like, Batman's killing all of these people. So many people are dying. We then cut to Joker, who's still dancing with Vicki Vale. He's like, and he has like a gun in his hand. If anything were to happen to you, I'd just kill myself. And he pulls the trigger, and it's classic. The Bane flag comes out, and he goes, and she's like, woo! And he's like, and he continues dancing and things. But eventually, Batman has defeated all the thugs, and Joker's just so distracted because he's just fucking like, I'm just like kissing Vicki Vale. But Vicki Vale sees that Batman's in the background, and so he's like, oh shit, I gotta play this up. But Joker, he's still wrapped up in his fucked up imagination. He's like, we're like Beauty and the Beast, Vicki. But if anyone were to refer to you as a beast, I'd rip their lungs out. Which is a line he improvised, which I thought was pretty funny. Eventually, though, she's like, and he's still like kissing her, like, but she starts kissing him too. He's like, whoa. He gets really excited. And she realizes the only way she can escape this is if she gives Joker a blowy. She's got to blow the Joker, chat, to save herself. Because Batman's like, I'm not going to do anything until you help yourself, Vicki. He's like, fuck, you only get one. And so she starts like kissing his arm and is like, she gets like a little bit of Joker fuzz. Like, oh, Joker, you're just so handsome. I love your white skin and your green hair and purple. I love purple. And she literally, I'm not kidding. She literally goes like down on him and he's like, oh. Like, how is this in a movie? How is this? His fucking reaction kills me all the time. Like, oh. And then he literally, because we hear something over his right shoulder, and you hear Batman go, hey. And Joker turns around and goes, and Batman says to him, you ever dance with the devil in the pale moonlight? And Joker's like, huh? And boom, he fucking punches him. And it's like, oh, here we go. We're going to see the battle between Joker and Batman. But you realize Jack Nicholson's like 50 years old in this movie. And so you're not going to see like a fight. And Michael Keaton has not been trained to fight. And it's kind of awkward. And so you're just relying on Jack Nicholson's improv and just the smoldering intensity of Michael Keaton in the scene. But literally, Michael Keaton's just grabbing Jack Nicholson and throwing him into things. He's like punches him, throws him through like some wood. And like Joker, he's like, oh, he punches him. And he's like, and he spits out these fake teeth that are chattering. Where'd you get those teeth? And he's like, oh, Jesus Christ, fucking what the fuck, man? What the fuck, Batsy? And he's like, and for whatever reason, this is when Batman says, he grabs, that's the thing. Batman grabs Joker, and Joker's like, what are you going to do to me? You made me. This is all your fault. He's like, you made me first. You killed my parents. And Joker suddenly puts it together, I guess. He's like, what are you talking about, man? It's like, I was a kid when I killed your parents. There is a scene missing here where Joker knows that Batman is Bruce Wayne. I don't know what happened. I don't know. Is there like a scene on the cutting room floor? I have no idea, but Joker's like, he figures it out. He's like, oh, come on, man. I mean, I was a kid when I killed your parents. I mean, I made you, you made me. I mean, it's childish going back and forth like this. And he's like backing more and more to the edge of the cathedral. And I love this line, though, where Joker's like, he pulls out these glasses. He's like, come on, man. You wouldn't hit a guy with glasses, would you? Punch. He fucking punches him. And he careens over the ledge. And Batman and Vicki Vale, they look over. And Joker just fucking grabs them and pulls them over, too. Look, boss, yeah, it was taken out. It was taken out? Okay, I thought so. Because I was like, what is going on here? It's very weird. He's like, look at you two. Oh, you better hang on, Batsy. Whoa. Ooh, they don't make them like they used to. Here, come here. I'll give you a hand. And Vicki reaches for him, and it's like a fake hand, and she falls, and Batman grabs her, puts her back on the ledge. And then we get a good look, Chad, as Jack Nicholson starts smashing on the cathedral stonework, making it harder for them to hang on. And I will say, Jack Nicholson, he's dummy thick. He's got a big old ass. You see that? He's like shaking. He's like twerking. You can see the Jack Nicholson Joker twerk, chat. And I was like, yes, I'm down for the thickness. And so he starts laughing. He's like, I just killed myself. Oh, but then he sees like the Joker helicopter coming in, and the Joker thug spot him. He's like, he's down there. Let's go and get him. And he's like, oh, Batsy, there's my ride. Time to retire. Drop in anytime. And, they lower this ladder down to him, Chad, this rope ladder. He grabs onto it, and Batman's like, fuck you. Fuck you. He's like, I'm not playing around anymore. He shoots the Jack Nicholson with the grapple hook, and he attaches it to a gargoyle, and we get like a really fucked up death. He's like, oh, as he's being like, why don't you just let go? Why don't you just let go of the ladder at that point? He's like, I am not letting go. I am not letting go. As this thing lifts up and we see just Jack going, and like eventually the gargoyle is wrested free and he keeps dropping one level of the ladder until he's on the very last one. And the guy's like, come on, Joker, come on. He's like, and then he falls. He falls to his death. Eventually, Batman and Vicki Vale, the ledger holding onto gives way. Batman grabs her. He uses his grappling gun, shoots it, wedges it in some brick, and they stop mid-fall, and the police are like looking with their floodlights. And then we get to a really fucking creepy scene. Sometimes I just kill myself. Karma is a bitch. We get to like a really, like, I hate that the fucking Batman killed the Joker. That always bothers me. I don't like it when the heroes kill their villains. For the most part, most of the time. Unless it's like, okay, now it's like the end of something, a big arc, and it's like, okay, man, now it makes sense. But here I hated that they killed him. But when we cut and we see the broken body of Jack Nicholson's Joker and he just cracked the fucking cement and his face is all kind of like splayed out and there's blood everywhere. And we hear this and it's this laughing box and like everyone surrounds the body. It's like, is he alive? And I guess in the time of his death, this thing goes off and it's in this little pouch and like Gordon like looks at it and goes, Jesus. It's super creepy. It's super creepy. The Joker almost looks like he has the last laugh, chat, if you will. There's another script, another Batman script for a scene I read where it's kind of like this scene where Joker does fall, I think. I think Batman might cause it, but it's when Joker unleashes this huge firework display and you see the fireworks via Joker's perspective when he's dead and like the lights are going off in his eyes like that before there's nothing else. And it goes like, ooh, it sounded kind of cool, pretty beautiful. But the laughing box is super ominous. Eventually, we're at the city hall and Harvey Dent and the mayor and Commissioner Gordon are there. And they're talking about how all of the Joker is dead. All of the Joker thugs and his criminal empire is being shut down as we speak. They're rounding up all of his associates, and they'll be in jail. And all of this in big thanks to Batman, who defeated the Joker. And meanwhile, like Vicki Vale is watching all this from the sidelines. Knox is okay, by the way. She's fine. Knox is going to get his Pulitzer Prize for his coverage and everything. She's like, well, Alex, it was great working with you, but I just don't want to be here anymore. And he's like, well, kid, if you want to stop by for dinner. And she's like, I never will. Goodbye. And so she leaves and she goes down Crime Alley, chat, where we see Alfred in this fancy car and he's got champagne already chilling for her, already ready. And, Alfred's like, apologies, Miss Vale, but Master Wayne, will be back shortly. He's running a bit late. She goes, I know. And we eventually cut back to the city hall meeting where the press are like, so you mentioned Batman and how he'll always protect the citizens of Gotham City, but how will we contact him? And Commissioner Gordon's like, he provided us with this, the signal. And it's the bat signal, Chad. So Buck and Batman had this ready. And they turn on, and we see it go up in the sky. Ba, 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 ba. We go up the skyscraper, Chad. It's iconic. It's like ba, 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 ba. It's amazing until we see the silhouette of Batman, Chad, as he stares off into the bat signal hanging above the sky, chat. And that, my friends, is 1989's Batman, my scene by scene breakdown, Chad. If I were to give this a rating, it's flawed. It's a flawed movie. I do have a lot of affection for it, chat. Stuff just happens for no reason, especially in the last third. I mean, there's some fun stuff is like, what the fuck is happening? I would probably give it a matinee. It's a solid, really entertaining matinee of the movie, chat. Caller says, I love this movie. High full price. Fair enough. I know there's a lot to appreciate. There's a lot to appreciate, a lot to love. But I would give it a matinee. It's a very enjoyable matinee movie. Hamilton Burger, great review. Patrice Gravity is not perfect. I grew up with it. I love this movie. I understand. And Gordon's like, where's my award for Tommy Move? I tried to do it. I tried. It's true. It's true. Yeah, it's talking about that. Yeah, exactly. It's super fun. It's a super fun film, chat. Oh yeah. Oh, the music is amazing. That is aged better than anything else in the film. That is perfect. That's still perfect. Day as fuck, but it's such a ball. It's so great. Shrek Juice, good to see you. But I hope you guys enjoyed my review for Batman 1989. Chad. Woo-wee. What a film. What a film. All the people behind the scenes were pushing for weird choices. Yeah, I mean, they stand out there. Blackstone, greetings and salutations to you, good sir. This movie is beautiful. I have narrative issues, but it looks great, and the music's awesome. Agreed. Hargan sells the fuck out of his role. Oh, he does. He's having so much fun. Like Jack Nicholson said, this is one of the most fun I've ever had playing a character. Because he got to do literally whatever he wanted. He got paid more than he ever been paid for in his life, and he got to do carte blanche. Anything. All that dialogue. Never rub another man's rhubarb. This town needs an enema. That's him. That's him saying all this shit. That's not in the script. It's fucking nuts. But Joker slipping his chemicals in the beauty products. There was an incident when cyanide was slipped into some painkiller piles. Whoa. And no one knew who dropped them into. Wow, that's fucked up. Joker Depression made this review really. Oh, thank you, Axel. Thank you. My Jack Nicholson. I love doing my Mark Hamill Joker impression. But yeah, I'm glad you liked it. Glad you liked it. Thank you so much, Axel. Where would you rank this among Tim Burton movies? It's one of my favorites, I would say. My favorite is still Ed Wood. Among Tim Burton movies, I would probably say Ed Wood is number one. It's like a high full price. That movie's great. High full price for Ed Wood. Ed Wood, Pee-wee's Big Adventure, and then I think maybe Edward Scissorhands, and then Batman.